Happy Halloween, everybody. Well, happy after Halloween. And we have the World Cup coming up, and we'll get right into it right after this. A word from our sponsor. All right, are we gonna stay streaming? You guys are watching the VOD. It's just probably jumping around, but I think Angus McWhorter for hanging out. Connor, what's up? Come on in. Let's pull up that. See if we have the roster. November 9th. November 9th is when the U.S. Men's World Cup roster will be released. But until then, I think we got a couple ideas for you. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And chat is open. I got SFYT live. I got the Discord going. Hopefully, hear things in there. Let me know if you can't hear me. You like slide to the Discord and there's some sort of weird issue. Sometimes it doesn't pick up my voice or I can't hear things and stuff like that. Discord, when you switch from various things, sometimes won't connect them. Say if I unplug my headphones for some reason, all of a sudden Discord will be like, oh, what are you doing? Walker Zimmerman. All right, looks like connection's going good. Let me check the stream health. Looking excelente. Of course, I got it in Espanol. No, I don't have it in English. I'm just kidding. It's fun to say, though. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on Spittin' Fire. We'll be talking about old Gregg and the U.S. men's national team. You know that. Because we got World Cup fever right up to 124 degrees. Because that's how fucking hot it's going to get in Qatar during the summer, that is, and that's why they shifted this World Cup to the winter. What is going on, everybody? Spam those emojis. I freaking love to see them. I greatly appreciate to see everybody in the chat. Angus, newly mod status. Connor, mod status. I've been seeing some crazy stuff on the old chatter spheres of the Twitters, like just some newfangled bots that are just like, woo, where are you coming from? But now you guys have the ability to be like, whoosh, and just smack them back into oblivion. Appreciate that. All right, everybody. Just getting in a few things settled here. I have the Discord open. We're going to talk US men's national team. Talk a little MLS Cup. We got the two favorites meeting up for like what feels like the first time in ages, right? Philadelphia and LAFC. Gareth Bale. You're going to be able to get a little bit more Gareth Bale in you before World Cup comes around. But Xherdan Shaqiri, he's already over in Europe. We'll talk all about it. Thanks for joining us here on Spitting Fire. Everybody kick that like button. Thanks for hanging out here. Greatly appreciate it. And, well, what's going on over there? Kick that like button. Just kick it. We're going to kick it. Just like U.S. men's national team is going to kick Iran's ass and the Wales ass. The Welsh are just going to kick it back in the back of the net. England's going to be another story. That's going to be a battle, a true battle. Test of both teams' mettle, because I know U.S. men's national team are going to be up for that game. They're going to be feeling it. And of course, where are the British going to be at that same point in time? Of course, we're all in the same group. We're vying for the same thing to go through, maybe 3. Unless things changed. I'm not sure. But thanks for joining us here on Armed and Ready. Let's go and get wow. So, guys, let us know who you think are give us your top 3 World Cup favorites. Spain, Netherlands, Portugal, U.S. men's national team, Mexico. Is Iceland in it? We'll have to double check on that, but I know Wales are in it. It's things like that. So we'll get into it. We'll talk about teams. We'll talk about special players we're excited for, young players that maybe we should think about betting on for the Golden Boot. Me and my brother, we have hit on the Golden Boot before. We hit on Golden Boot with Harry Kane, and when we put in the odds, it was like we put in like $1 or $2, and from $1 or $2 we made like 300. It was amazing. So, what are your tickets you're gonna punch for the World Cup? We got DPG coming on the show about a little bit later. Sounds like Connor's gonna hop in here, talk a little US, little World Cup. I mean, Qatar's gonna be in this. What do we expect out of Qatar? Do we expect them just to get laughed out of the tournament, or are the Qatari officials slipping a few bucks taking care of the referees to the point where the referees are going to be like, oh, nope, what? Nope, pal. Don't know. Busy tonight. Going to hang out here. I'll see if I'm able to join the Discord later. Sounds like a plan, man. Do what you can. Really appreciate it. All you guys hanging out here. Let's go. Message retracted by Connor. He's retracting his statement. Maybe he's able to stay a little longer. Maybe not. It's a mystery that only time will tell, and the answer will soon be revealed. Of course, loads of shit going on in the world. I mean, just like, knowledgeable. There's loads of shit. Oh, and then there's that. And then there's that. And then there's that. And then there's that. And then there's just like, there's a lot. But, you know what? Thanks for joining us here on Spitting Fire, where we're going to have a little fun. Let's go. Let's have a little fun. Let's lock in Portugal. Maybe a little Cristiano Ronaldo coming to MLS. Can you believe it? Inter Miami. Looking at Cristiano Ronaldo. Also, as has been brought up here on the podcast before, brought up by Paul Tenorio himself on one of our old podcasts. Members can always go check out those ones. That's one of the special ones with Paul Tenorio. But Paul Tenorio, in that old podcast, talks about Messi coming to MLS and who would be the most likely team to get him. And that was a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, a while back. We've been around, what, 4+ years here at SPITTINGFIRE. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out for the ride, but cool stuff. Qatar. Wait, so favorite teams are, Angus is saying US, so favorite teams, and I would say that's different than, like, are you saying favorite teams like close to your heart, the ones you're rooting for? Or you're saying favorite teams to win it? Because to me it looks like US men's national team, the Netherlands, and Canada are close to Angus McQuarters. The Duke himself is hot. He's going to be rooting for them. I like those shouts. I got one of my best friends. His family's from Netherlands. Well, I mean, I'm from Poland, so I'm rooting for Poland. I mean, my family's from Poland, our roots anyway. So I'm looking at Poland, looking at Germany because we have some roots there too. So rooting for the German national team, Polish national team, U.S. men's national team, a little bit for the English national team too. I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them bring it home. I think I'm realistic about the U.S. chances. There's a 1%, 2%, 3% roll of the die. Absolute Cinderella story happens and U.S. men's national team come out of nowhere to win it all. Absolutely can happen. That's sports. It's the beauty, the wonder of sports. I'm excited to see who are going to be the surprises to come out of Qatar. Because we're due for one. Doesn't it seem like that? As far as soccer surprises, last big soccer surprise, what was Leicester City? What's coming up next? Maybe we've had other surprises since then, if you guys want. What would you guys say are some more of the surprising things that have happened in soccer lately, like akin to Leicester winning EPL way back when? Because to me, that was like one of those, like, whoa, that's a significant moment in soccer history where you could hang your head. Oh, man. There's other more morbid, but I won't bring it up. We don't have to go there. Other significant soccer events I think of that are also in the past recent. Yeah. But let's go back. Got the bots in here already. Lots of adult bots in the chat already, clearly, says Connor. Qatar sounds like a kind of a joke team, says Archduke. That dissolved in a major way since winning the Asian Cup. Really? I wonder if they had like a whole bunch of like bought-in players. What are they? Ringers, they called them. Typically in the old days, they called them ringers. When you could bring in like one of the secret studs that nobody knew about or was from a different league or a different team, or it just like somehow brought them in. Predictions from Hoarder. Okay, so their predictions. Okay, so those were your favorites. Gotcha. I feel you on those. I like U.S. men's national team. I like rooting for Canada. I think Poland's going to be my number 3. Lewandowski. And I think we actually have a Chicago Fire right back possibly going in Frankowski. A little Chicago Fire connections there. Swiss national team, we have Shaqiri. And I think we got to talk a little bit about more Shaqiri about tonight. I think he's been a little bit embattled by us fans. I think that we haven't looked at a gift horse in the mouth when we're looking at Shaqiri. We're feeling different emotions, but to be honest, the question must be asked: has Jordan Shaqiri brought more to the table than Gareth Bale? A lot to the arguments on both sides. However, I mean, Jordan Shaqiri has the stats to show, but Gareth Bale's team in the finals. By the way, MLS Cup final at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern. Is that right? Something like sounds about right? On Saturday. So check out MLS Cup. I don't know if I'll be live for that. Maybe I will be. I'll see what I can do. No promises. I'll certainly have some sort of alert to let you guys know if you guys are interested, and I'll try to put out like a YouTube alert to let you guys know. But I don't see it in the cards at the moment. But maybe, because we need to do this MLS Cup. It's the final game of MLS right before the World Cup, and we're going to see possibly the last little bit of action of Gareth Bale for LAFC before he goes to try and win a World Cup with Wales. A couple other players too out there. But not among them, going to Qatar at least anyway, will be Carlos Vela. Carlos Vela. He's not going with the Mexican national team. We were talking about that, of course, last podcast. DBG and Connor. Possible snub. That wasn't a snub. He was, of course, already had taken himself out of contention, but other players that were snubbed by Tata Martino, ex-Atlanta United coach. Let's check it out. Predictions from Angus saying Brazil to win it. I like that shout. I don't know if I have $1 on Brazil. How do I not have $1 on Brazil? Maybe because they're one of the favorites and they weren't worth the $1 because it'd be like $3 back. Maybe. I'll have to take a look at that. Brazil. Argentina. I definitely have $1 on Argentina. Leo Messi taking it all the way, trying to solidify his soccer resume with a World Cup and become truly one of the GOATs of soccer to be recognized on par with Pele instead of just looking at him in the Champions cartoons together, right? And maybe even putting himself above Ronaldo. France, that's the third prediction for Angus. So let's see. Brazil, Argentina, France. Absolutely. Those got to be probably the three major favorites of the tournament. Maybe lump Germany in there. Maybe lump England in there. And those are probably the big, five? The big five? Portugal, got to be rounding out the big six. Belgium, Netherlands. I mean, we can't. Okay, there's more clubs in there. We gotta stretch this out, figure that out. We'll talk more. We get back into the office here. But thanks for joining us here, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. Let's freaking go. Hashtag PM Saturday. I think 3 p.m. Central Standard Time on Fox TV Saturday. MLS Cup, Philadelphia, and Andre Blake in goal versus LAFC. And of course, it's one of the rare times where finally the best in MLS on the East meets up with the best in the West for a grand old final that we're all going to get to enjoy. I was thinking about this. Why do the playoffs even exist? Why? Why do the playoffs exist? Why not, at this point, because we don't need the playoffs. We don't need the MLS playoffs, and now they're already making more convoluted playoffs. I don't know if you listened to one of the more recent podcasts from the Sandalo and Dan Santaromita, friends of the show, but they were talking about it and just talking about the upcoming changes, so you might want to check that out. But for me, take away the playoffs, make the regular season the playoffs, change the way the schedule is structured to more make it that you're playing your conference. Maybe there's a couple intra-conference stuff, just like in baseball, a couple intra-conference matches, like where you're playing like-minded teams of the NFL. Like if you're the top team, you tend to play on the schedule the other top teams from the previous year. If you're the first place team from the previous year, or the conference champion or the division champion, you tend to play the division champions of the other divisions. So maybe something like that with MLS. You have 2 divisions, East and West, or 2 conferences, and their schedule is a bit more even, so you're playing more of your own conference and a couple inter-league games, and then end of the season, or you make everybody play each other twice, like at EPL. I don't know the numbers. I thought that they may have ran that, and it might be a little too much, but maybe they can't figure out because there are more teams. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. Because there's 26 or 28, there's just a few more teams, which means it would be like a lot more matches to make everybody play each other twice, or play each other once on the one side, and everybody plays each other twice in the conference. Maybe that's something, and then the next year they play at the interleague at like a home and away. Like maybe that's how you do it. Maybe there's some sort of compromise. But anyway, long story short, eliminate the playoffs and make the regular season the playoffs so that whoever wins Philadelphia is playing LAFC. Skip the stupid part. The absolute stupid part where you're bringing it, where you're like, oh, maybe Portland should be the best team and they should play LAFC, or they should not. They should play Portland. Should play Columbus because those 2 won out. And for instance, say Columbus made the playoffs. You get my drift here. My point being that why not at the end of the season have the two best teams all season play each other? It makes so much sense. Why waste our time with these 6, 12, 13 games of playoffs? Why waste our time? We already cut away the meat. No one was as good as Philadelphia on that side. No one was good as LAFC. Why do we even have to let Portland have a try? Why do we have to let New York Red Bulls even have a try? They did all season long. Get rid of the playoffs. That's all I say. Get rid of it, scrap them, and let the two best teams in each conference play each other for the championship at the end of the season. One big game. One big game. Unless you make it 3 big games, because it's like that. I don't know. But I think you make it one big game, one big championship. What happens in the World Cup final? One big game. And this would make it a little different than the EPL, where there's only one champion, and at the end of the season, it's over. Well, guess what's at the end? Happens at the end of MLS. We have 2 champions. We have the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference, and they're going to battle it out for who's the best in MLS. I think that's the way MLS should go about it in the future. We'll talk more about that with Angus, and chat with everybody else. Thanks for joining us here, guys. Let's hop on in. Let's go. All right. Woo! Let me change that to live. Archduke saying, I totally agree. I mean, even up the amount of teams, too. I don't really care about the challenge. It's still friendly. I'm not too worried about it. All right, start her up. Discord's open. DPG will be joining us here in a little bit. Having 29 teams just screws up the scheduling in MLS, doesn't it? But if you're going to figure it out, figure it out. Figure it out whether you could have conference where maybe you play Chicago plays Columbus, New York Red Bulls, everybody in the Eastern Conference twice. Then plays everybody in the Western Conference once. Yeah, maybe it's a shitload of games, but hey, fuck. Maybe that's MLS. Fuck. Maybe that's MLS. And maybe you figure out better times, better timing of the schedule. Maybe you shift when the schedule starts. Disc. Oh, this looks sick. Screen tear, that worries me.
For mobilization. Location Fisk Tower.
Fisk. Copyright right now. Copyright ding. We're gonna go. Whoa, we're gonna take it to the end of the line, and I found it all the time, and I don't know why, but I was Spider-Man, 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 Spider-Man. Spider-Man, man, I'm back again, back in with Spider-Man, I'm down on the back again. Back.
All units stand by. Warrant is en route.
Tried to not get copyright struck, guys. I'm gonna get copyright ding, and I don't wanna go. Oh no. We're gonna sing. We're gonna take it to the end because we are Peter Parker. Hold ship to swing. Right track to detach. We're gonna fly one. I'm fucking almost dying. Start me again. Holding, press A to gain speed. Whoa!
Captain Watanabe.
goodness.
Did you take him down yet?
No, we're at Fisk Tower, but still waiting on the warrant.
Mind if I join in on the fun?
You know how his lawyers are. This one needs to go by the book.
Come on, Yuri. I've been waiting 8 years for this.
It's like
You really wanna
like the
help?
most extreme.
Head to Times Square.
Coaster.
Sounds like
Oh
his
my
guys are
goodness,
trying to
these
keep my backup
graphics.
from reaching the scene.
You got it. Almost there.
I don't even know where I'm going, Yuri. I just don't care. This is. What? Okay, sorry, chat. Have a lot to deal with. Holy fuck. We're dipping around New York City right now. This is just absolutely picturesque.
Hello?
Parker, where are you? We must run through the demonstration at least once before the grant committee arrives.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. Dealing with a personal issue. I'll be in soon. Promise. Better wrap this up quick than get to my real job.
Alrighty, let's go. Let's go, Pete. Let's do fun, Pete. Woo! What can I do? Alright, so A. Sprint button? Okay. That's like a little, okay. Let's see a little, yeah. Good. Oh, let's try that again. Whoa. Oh, right. Okay, how do you do this? Nope. Come on, let's get this. Trying to get it here. Let's go up high. Let's go high. Guy. Woo! Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm high as a helicopter. Holy shnipe. Alright. Oh, I check one thing here. Yeah, just, wow. Alright, everything's all good. Actually, that is not good though. Pop out. Clear it up. Put it in. Come on. I need to see the people. Where? Let me see these docs. Supply that. That's what I'm gonna go. Talk about Sean Johnson, Zach Steffen, Matt Turner, Reggie Cannon, Cameron Carter Vegas, Serginho. Let's go, boys and girls. We're going to take on the U.S. men's national team in Qatar and tell them a thing or two about a thing or two. Holy. Spider-Man just passing through. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Alright, let's go.
Looks like Yuri called in the cavalry.
Alright, let's go. We got problems. Oh.
Times Square, officers under fire. Bring in the hammer.
Sets it right on their freaking front. But I mean, they could just get this body armor though. They might have bought it. It just disappeared. We didn't have eyes on him. Look at these cows. guys gotta tighten it up. Oh shit, big problem. You're basically dead if this guy shoots you. Why are you waiting to shoot him?
Get it.
Morning, guys. Who's ready for their hot, fresh cup of bodily harm?
I think he is. Your spider sense will flash around your head to warn you of incoming attacks. When you see this, get ready to dodge. Be to dodge. Oh.
Gotta warn you,
Beat a dodge.
I'm feeling punchy today.
I keep.
Next customer. This doesn't look good.
B.
Somebody just shoot him.
Man, Fisk has a lot of guys on his payroll.
Spider-Man, what's your status?
Almost done here. You?
We're about to go in.
Be there soon. Can't wait to see Willie's face when you slap the cuffs on him. Okay, Yuri. All done. What's happening? Yuri? Yuri!
Let's go. Let's go, Pete. Get on your horse. Get on your
Fisk
horse.
wouldn't go quietly.
Let's go. We're speeding along. Flying through the city. Shit! No! Go, Pete. God, this game's gorgeous.
Get more backup. And lock down the airspace.
Yuri, you okay?
If he makes it out of that building, we're gonna lose him.
I'm gonna go,
Do your thing.
Let's go.
Seize the day, Willie.
He's shooting bullets at people. Oh, shit.
Hands up.
Good job.
Hey, where you going?
Put him through the glass.
Okay. I'll clear a path. Follow me.
Get out of here, Spider-Man. We got this.
No, you don't.
Whoever shut the hell up.
Oh, shit! Gotcha.
Sorry to break it to you, but you do not got this, buddy. Thanks for the confidence boost, guys.
I press my spidey sense.
Get him. Oh, I'm tired, dude. So.
I guess this is what they call a hostile workplace. Whoa, you guys see that? Get ready for some pain. Come on!
What? Yeah. I feel. Oh, shit. They got weapons.
Down, down, down.
Gotta take those shooters out.
It's the end for you.
Oh, shit.
Hope you got insurance. You son of a...
You should run.
What?
I think that's all of them.
Come on, come on. They shut
Blind.
the elevators down. Take the stairs.
All right, boys.
I prefer a more direct approach.
Yeah. Through. Let's
Spider-Man,
walk.
status.
Heading to the upper floors and hoping nobody turns on the elevators.
Any way to go
Our
fast?
choppers are taking fire. Looks like Fisk has
Oh,
armed men on
far
every
too
floor.
right.
He's desperate.
And he's
There we
hitting us
go.
with everything he's got.
I have to find him and end this.
Not yet. We just picked up chatter. They're wiping all their data servers. We need that evidence if we want to put him away for good.
Okay, server room it is.
You're flying.
Call from May. Better answer.
Answer.
Hi, Aunt May.
What is all that noise?
Watching a superhero movie. What's up?
With
I just wanted to make sure we're
Hostile,
still on
next
schedule
floor up.
tomorrow night.
Totally. Listen, I gotta go.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Oh, it's flying in, man. I'm so.
Blow your head off of that!
Maybe you should use the Y button. Let's go.
You're dead!
Yeah.
Hold him so he can't jump around! Come on, down here and fight like a man!
Hold the
How
press.
exactly do you think this ends well for you?
I'm in an ass-kicking mood!
Oh, you got me.
Have some of this! You're mine! I'll get him, boy!
On to the next one.
Pop, pop.
Dig in! Spread out! Stop it! Rush him! What the hell was that?
Gotta find that server room before there's no evidence left.
Up. Let's
By going
go.
this way, they'll destroy all the evidence.
Okay. So
I
let's
should look for a sneaky way in.
How about that? About there.
There we go.
Rolling it.
It's like my own private ventrance.
We go in here.
Fisk may be a dirty criminal, but he has remarkably clean air vents.
Okay.
Hurry up. The boss wants everything erased. Can't make it delete any faster.
Soldiers that we want. Yeah. Let's do it.
They're so cute when they're oblivious.
Cops come. Halfway there. Need another minute or two. You think the cops know where we are? Don't worry about out there. Worry about
I think I was going the wrong way there for a second there. Course corrected. Check it out.
Is this tech support? I forgot my password.
Spider-Man! Don't let him near the console! Shouldn't have messed with the
Flip him.
kingpin. Hold him back!
Warning. Full deletion imminent.
Stall him! The system's still purging!
I thought the IT guys at my last job were rude.
Crush you! Go! Get out of the way!
Gotta access that console before everything's gone.
This. Hopefully we
Just
got
how
the
good their
cue.
security is.
Like Weston
There's the latest
McKinney.
kernel patch.
DeAndre Edmonds.
Says the guy
Howard.
frantically erasing his search history.
That's some bullshit.
You're still just an ignorant child.
True, but that's part of my charm, isn't it?
Some bullshit.
Damn you. Get that door down now!
Fisk. You think you have power here?
Get past him. Destroy everything. Look around you. I did this.
Why?
What have you ever done mattered?
Well, there was that time I took down a pompous, overstuffed crime lord before breakfast.
Without me, the scum I kept in check will run rampant. And it'll be your fault.
Been a long, tough road, Fisk. Almost sad to see it end.
Mere brain.
We'll get ready for the main event.
Okay, we're cool.
Yuri, an explosion just...
I saw it. Fisk could have the whole place wired. I'm sending in a bomb unit.
I'll make sure no one gets in their way.
Kill him, or the boss will kill us! Like the fireworks? Not sure where that came from. sure we're not playing yet?
I think that's all of them.
Where?
Clear. Move up.
Hey guys, I guess bombs are part of Willie's getaway plan? Sounds like they're trapped.
You go after them. We'll look for the bombs.
Everyone clear out! Evacuate the building!
Let's run, Pete. All right. What?
I heard more people back that way.
I'll find them.
Spider-Man!
Shit.
We can't move! We're pinned down!
I'm coming.
I'll lift you. When you're free, get out fast. If you can walk, help the injured. Got it?
Thank you!
Thing I left.
Okay, Willie. Coming your way.
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
How we doing, Captain?
Could be better. Our choppers took a beating. We just had to ground our last one. If Fisk calls in a chopper, we have no one to stop it from landing.
Really?
No one to chase him if he flies away.
Sounds
Why do I
like
get
trouble
the
at the
feeling that's
mill.
what he was planning all along?
Because he probably was.
Okay.
Damn. Yuri, get EMTs up here, fast!
We're trying.
He's got a rocket.
Incoming! That's enough out of you.
Oh, shit.
More rockets? A little excessive, don't you think?
If I was you, I'd run.
Cool.
What? Is it National Rocket Day or something?
Yes, it is. You guys are gonna blow up. You're gonna put out somebody's eye. Shit.
Man, how'd the bomb squad guys get through this?
It's parkour. Looking around, looking around.
Get him!
Settle down. I've got enough for everybody.
Oh, I'm sick and tired of you. So am I. Come on! That's not fair!
Yeah. Couldn't miss, buddy.
Bomb squad must be somewhere ahead. Hope they're okay.
Go, boys.
You guys all right?
We were just about to call for backup.
I think I'm it.
Lead the way. We'll be right behind you.
Are we sure that these guys are legit?
Heads up, boss.
Knew it. Knew it. You can't hit me.
So you guys were in bed with Fisk all along? Oh,
No.
no, I'll never get that image out of my head.
No, these guys just got from a uniform.
So your plan didn't work. On to plan B, getting kicked in the face. You can't let him get me off. Hey, Yuri. Looks like some of your guys were on Fisk's payroll. Good news is, they were Willie's last line of defense. I'm right outside his office.
Take him down, now.
With pleasure. Does Yuri know? Come on. I'm here. I'm here. Can I come in? Knock, knock.
Oh my fucking A. I've been in musical mode this entire time. Chat, you gotta let me
Writing your
know.
memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between spider and man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long. I'm surprised you made it this far,
Holy shit.
but your foolishness ends now.
Not now, Fisk.
You
I
do
was
know
trying
can
to
still
serve
see
you.
right?
8 years of this insolence.
These court papers. Imagine.
Oh, for me?
Peter
You
Parker is like
shouldn't
a sermon summons to the court.
have. Gotta wait for an opening. It's reloading.
How is this happening?
What's wrong, Willie? You seem angry.
I will destroy you!
Take your best shot.
Yeah.
That gave me an opening.
You'll die as uselessly as you lived!
Take your best shot.
Oh, this guy can't be. Woo. Whoa, no. Shit. Dodge it. I thought the music mode was intended. Oh shit!
You are everything that's
Hopefully it
wrong
wasn't
with
too
this
brutal.
city.
Huh. I was gonna say the same to you.
I want
You know
to.
what to do, man.
That's so funny.
You want some?
No, I don't. I want to put you to bed.
You fools! Trained to fight, so fight!
Oh shit!
Get down here and fight like a man! I don't want excuses! No! I can handle myself!
Forget him.
Tiresome annoyance!
Hang in there.
Imbeciles!
Oh, I thought I dodged him.
Or dead. This doesn't care. Where are the reinforcements?
Shit!
Time to end this!
You asked for it.
Yeah.
You're out of your depth, boy!
This time.
Fuck. Okay, gotta get him. Look out! Not like the Batman. Bing. Outrigger! What? Through the glass. Swish. Gotcha,
So,
fucker.
should we kiss now? Yeah, maybe later.
Funny, Pete.
Finally off to Rikers, huh? You know, I think you've got more enemies in there than I do.
If you think this will be more than a minor inconvenience...
Whoop, gotta go. Hey, good luck, Willie. I have
minute.
a feeling you're gonna need it.
Idiot! I'm the one who kept order in this city! 1 month! In 1 month you'll wish you had me back!
The Kingpin is heading to prison. End of an era. I feel like I should celebrate. Maybe take a vacation.
Woo! Access the skill tree? Don't mind if I do. Complete these. Innovator, defender. Hold X in the air to swing, kick, like that. Hold Y to grab web and electrified enemies. They be tossed into other enemies. Press B as your spider sense turns blue to counter with a web shot. Generate focus. Wait, so let's see. Press B just as your spider sense turns blue. I think that sounds cool. Useful. How do I, all right, there it is. Perfect dodge. Dodge window. Like that. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right, so let's
Parker,
go.
where are you? The committee will be here soon. We need to run an equipment check.
I'm almost there. Blocks
Right away.
away.
Guess I'll
Point
just do it
launches
myself.
help maintain
no, don't.
flow.
It's not safe. Gotta love Doc's enthusiasm, but sometimes it gets him into trouble.
Yeah.
Better get there before he hurts himself.
Can I just hold right trigger, or do I have to tap it? No, I can hold right trigger. All right. Hold to dive. Woo! Woohoo! Woo! Woo! How do I just
Think they'll make the charges on this?
there we go. Jump. Perch. Go up. Woo! Now we're cooking. Woo! Hello. Friendly for neighborhood Spider-Man. Woo! Let's go. What's your guys' favorite superhero? Spider-Man is definitely in my top 2. Spider-Man, Batman, probably the top 2, right? Well, at least for me. Boop. We're here.
I'm sorry I'm late.
Uh-oh. Doc Ock.
You started without me.
The grant committee's director will be here soon. It's fine, Parker. I invented this equipment. I think I can handle it.
power
Whoa.
connector. Oh, man. Maybe we should abort.
Not yet.
What are we gonna do? He's gonna get shocked here.
Hold on! Dr. Octavius, are you okay?
Another setback.
It is Doc Ock. Not Gio Reyna or Eunice Musa. Brendan Aronson.
Close.
Paul Areola. Jesus Ferreira. Jordan Morris. Jordan Pefok. Ricardo Pepe. Christian Pulisic. Or Timothy Weah. Or Walker Zimmerman. Or Kellen
anyone hurt?
Acosta.
No,
Or
it
Tyler
was all
Adams.
my fault.
The energy levels
None of
exceeded
those
our
guys.
expectations.
It's Peter Parker.
From a certain viewpoint,
And
it's a
Dr.
very
Octavius.
positive development.
It doesn't smell
James
very
Sands.
positive.
Anthony Robinson. Nope.
I
Not
assure
Chris
you, in the
Richards.
next
Not.
phase,
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Ooh.
Is there somewhere else we can discuss this?
Like what?
maybe you should take the rest of the
Over a
day off,
glass of
Peter.
wine and some dinner?
But we'll talk later.
Why, thank you. We'll talk later. Okay. Okay.
That was a disaster.
I see how it is.
How could the dampener have
I see how it is. We'll talk
I
later.
know Doc said take the day off, but I have to figure out what went wrong.
You tell me. All right, so we got to walk around here. Test this alarm out.
You are in bad shape, little guy.
What are we supposed to do? Okay. Trying to like break this or something or what?
Let's see what's wrong with you.
Octavius Industries. This is not LexCorp or Oscorp. Octavius Industries. A to continue.
Circuit burned out.
Okay, power control to this arm is
If I'd been
damaged.
here to do the pre-check, I would have caught this.
Gotta get it. Create a connection. Okay, so I've... Okay, I got that. So this. Oh, we gotta turn it somehow. Ah, rotate. There we go. Rotate. Bring you in. Building. Move you. Yes. Bring you into the focus. You. Okay. Finally, you.
Got it.
Of the puzzle. Component repair! Just like I'm a regular PC guru.
Okay, need to reroute servo control.
This is a long one. Okay. Let's start with you. No, is that not what we want to do? Okay, so let's reset the circuit. Nope. Let's reset the circuit. Go with this one. Okay. 1 second. Cool. Fuck. Dropping my, no, I didn't want to reset. Okay, we can go like that. Now you. Let's bring you in. Cool. Now, okay, so far so good. Now what? Now you. Okay. Now. You. This will work here. This will work. You. And go. Final piece
Nice.
of the puzzle.
Okay, what next?
And
now
Peter Harv.
balance the voltage.
Peter Parker's a genius. And so are we, chat. In order to set the power voltage, you must meet charge requirement. Press A. Some circuits provide a positive charge. Gotta go there. Okay. Let's go 2 minus 1. Retarget voltage. So right now we're at 1, so we want a 2.
Finished.
Love that music. Resounding, heroic, success on all fronts. That's right. New York University.
Let's see if that worked.
Let's test it out.
Good as new.
Look at that. Oh, look, I can go over here, can go over there. Look at this. Oh yeah, feeling good.
Doc's been testing new materials for the prosthetics. He asked me to review his work if I had time. May as well dig in now.
All right. This.
Today's the day. Grant review. We're ready. The work has progressed at a remarkable pace. I honestly never thought we'd get the tensile actuator back to an acceptable tolerance. But Parker, the boy has an eye for guerrilla science like none other. Just as I was ready to order a custom machine replacement part, he returned from the hardware store with a bottle of solvent and a toothbrush. Bang! Actuator problem resolved. The boy is a genius. A chronically late genius. It's already 10 after. Where is he? Surely he couldn't have forgotten today's review.
Sorry I let you down, Doc.
Peter, thank you again for doing these blind reviews.
Sure.
Peer review is the backbone of great science. You know, as we've prepped for the upcoming fitting, I felt an itch in the back of my brain. Is
Peer
this
review
really
holds the
back
best science. You guys might want to talk about it. There's new papers coming out about it. But peer review tends to hold back scientific discovery because a lot of people are like unable to accept sometimes.
Can't believe I've never tried that.
Fuck, I guess that's enough of that. All right, let's check it out. This spectrograph.
Doc's
come from
testing new
space?
contact material for the prosthetic.
Use fragments, the unknown substance, to try and match the absorption lines. Yeah. All right. Bring in you. Right? No, that's not right. You definitely go there. You definitely go there. Is that the answer? I think so. Let's go. Substance identified. The secret of the
Hydrogen polymer
ooze.
composite. Strong, but there's a lot of impedance. Better tell Doc to keep looking for other materials.
Well, what's impeding it, Parker? World Series update. End of the third inning.
should get
Thanks
out
for
of here
that,
before I screw
Angus.
things
I'm
up.
checking in on the World Series right the fuck now. World Series. Astros have 1 game. Phillies have 2 games. It's game 4. 0-0, bottom of the 3rd. I am going to put on that game so I can keep it on, at least so I can see it in the background. That sounds like a good shout. Let's drop it down to perfect. Might have to get a new drink here.
His wife went to the
No, let's not hear it. Let's just see it. Javier pitching. Hoskins at the plate. He's 0 for 1. World Series, it says you just got to tune in here at least and see something. Usually see something amazing. Uh-oh, pop out. If he pops out right here, 2 out. Oh! Incredible. Philly choked right there. Great little inning by Houston to close the bottom of the 3rd. Scoreless. Scoreless. Phillies and Astros were game 4 of the World Series. Well, we got that World Series game going. That's awesome. Great shot there. 0-0 is the score. We'll keep that going in the background. And
Doc even more.
Sounds like DPG and other people might join us here later. Material candidate. Station allows you to work on Spectrum. Completing projects. More special as you progress through the game. Okay, let's do it. Cue it up.
What was Doc working on with this?
Toss you down. There it is. Let's analyze. Run it through.
Beautiful.
Whoa, polydimethylsiloxane. Is that some sort of Marvel or DC substance?
Looks like another potential prosthetic contact material.
This one's bigger, thicker. Gonna require more work. All right, let's start on this one. It's gonna be this one. 2. I want to say. That's not right. Nope, that's not. Oh, this might be right. Look at that. No, that's not. Okay, so we're having trouble with that one. Let's figure that out. Let's bring you in. There. No, this one's. But. Yeah, I think so. You. Oh, we got you. 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 You're not doing. Figure this out. You down. Then, down. How do you like them apples? Woo! I saw the pop out 2 minutes ago.
Oh,
I'm watching on my 7-inch kitchen TV. All right, I gotta go in here too.
Interface.
I fix that. That did not work. Try that again. I'm going to adjust here. Chat. Oh shit. No, I can't do that actually. No. And oh fuck. No, I can't do that because I won't be able to see. Or will I? On YouTube TV, because this game's definitely on YouTube TV. Which, man, it's starting to it makes sense, you know. All right, so I actually don't need to worry about anything about that. That's true. So let's pull up this and let's get the YouTube TV going so I could see this game. Let's go. Houston Astros. Oh, Boston Celtics, Cleveland, Charlotte Hornets, Bulls too. Just put that on, please. And let's make sure that there is no volume. All right. Houston, 2 outs, top of the 4th. Nola, 54 pitches in, scoreless. All right. I think we have completed all we can complete there. It's all about. Doc. You back here? We're out of here. I see.
Spider-Man, it's Yuri.
Fisk make it to Rikers yet?
Not Rikers. Our boy qualifies for the VIP treatment. He's in the raft.
Oh, really?
Joining Scorpion, Electro, and the rest. Fisk should be honored. That's a steamed company.
Can you swing by the precinct? Got an issue that could benefit from your unique skill set.
For you, Yuri? Anything.
Right, how do we know Yuri's safe? Not even.
Huh.
Excuse me.
Looks like Jameson's got a new episode out. Wonder what my #1 fan thinks about the Fisk takedown.
This is Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, where listeners like you discuss the issues affecting our city with Pulitzer Prize-winning two-time Pulitzer Prize-winning former publisher of the Daily Bugle. Hey, plug the book. And as always, if you order Mr. Jameson's book, Spider-Man, Threat or Menace, within 24 hours of our broadcast, you'll get an autographed copy at no extra charge.
No personalizations. Don't ask. Not gonna get it.
Welcome to Just the Facts with J. Jonah Jameson, alerting you to the threats you don't even know about. Let's dive right into the calls. Speak.
Okay, so not for nothing. You gotta give Spider-Man respect for taking down Wilson Fisk, right? I mean, one less mob boss is good for everyone.
Is that right? Tell me, are you a police officer? Prosecutor? Maybe an award-winning reporter with decades on the job like me?
No, I'm a plumber.
Oh, good. Then fix my toilet and shut up! Let me explain something to you about crime bosses. Soon as one goes down, every punk with a gun, a tracksuit, and a drawer full of gold chains decides he's the next godfather. We're gonna have a gang war in the streets, but does that whip-headed moron give a damn? Of course not. He got on TV. That's what counts.
Yeah, well, I can get copper pipe without paying kickbacks now. So until that gang war starts, I'm on the webhead.
2 men on all of a sudden.
And you'll be singing a different tune when 3 new mobs are lining up
For
to charge you
Houston.
triple for that same
And
mob.
Almedes
Or
Diaz
just break your legs.
at the plate. 2 outs though.
Someday, Jonah. I'm gonna get you to say something nice about me. Someday.
I see it right there, but let's head on up. Looks like he grounded out. 3 outs. No runs batted in. Be right back. I'm gonna grab a drink while this plays.
Now that you quit smoking, what do you tell people when you come up here?
That I need a break from their crap.
Fair enough. So, why'd you call? Need a date to the policeman's ball?
You got a black and white suit? No ball this year anyway. We spent too much integrating Oscorp's surveillance tech.
Worth it though, right?
It was. Until an hour ago. The system went down. City...
Hold on. Pause for a second here. Let me downgrade you. Yes. Full sledgehammer, so to speak. I don't know how your fantasy football league's going, everybody who does fantasy football. I know some of you have done fantasy sports in the past, fantasy baseballs and stuff like that, but fantasy football this season has been crazy. And the smack talk has been great. And and in our league, we have a mechanism. So the top 6 teams make it's a 12-man league. Top 6 teams make the playoffs. The number 1 seed is a bye, and there is a 7th seed. It is and that's why they get that first seed gets the bye. But that 7th seed is based on a wild card for points 4, meaning that everybody who's not amongst those first automatic 6 playoff makers, 1 through 6, spots 1 through 6, everybody in spots 7 through 12 are eligible to make it via wild card, and whoever has the most points for, even if you're in last place with the least amount of wins, but you have the highest points for of the 7th through 12th place teams, you get the wild card spot. The reason we implemented that is because, every season, doesn't it always seem that sometimes there's one guy that might get screwed by the schedule, and you look at his points for and his points against, and he's got monster points for, but he's also got monster points against, and he's got like a horrible record. He just misses the playoffs. Well, this ensures that those powerful teams make the playoffs over a weaker team, essentially. And a lot of times, actually, funny thing is that the 7th place team will be the team with the highest points for. That happens sometimes, and sometimes it's not the case. So, but it's an interesting wrinkle that we've added. Curious to see how it's going to work out. And of course, it's only week 9. We play until week 14, and then playoffs week 15, week 16, week 17, which is pretty crazy. We didn't used to do that. We used to have it end a little bit earlier, but football goes to the end now. Like, you have to play all your games. You can't really end it light. And because there's coaches that have found this out the hard way. You got to play hard all the way. What is this, 2 balls, or is this like some weird graphic? Oh, that's his 4-seam basketball, and that's his slider. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool graphic. It showed like how his different pitches start in the same place and end up in 2 totally different places. Is Christian Javier's 3 innings pitched, 2 batters walked, 4 batters K'd. At the moment, is the starter for Houston. Looks like he's going against JT Real Muto. 0 for 1, strikeout in the first. One of the victims of Javier early on. And he's falling behind real quickly here. Looks like 0-2 count on Real Muto of the Philadelphia Phillies. First up to bat in the bottom of the 4th. In the 4th game of the World Series, Houston taking on Philadelphia. Houston Astros versus Philadelphia Phillies. Our first ball of the at-bat, 1-2 the count. Way outside. Little 12-6. Slider type. Man, isn't baseball one of those things? It's just like you just put it on like a hat. Like, I've been to so many baseball games, watched so many baseball. It's just like put on a hat. It's just like, bam, back in the swing of things. All right, let's see what they're doing here. This guy's stance is wide open. I mean, Javier could pick this guy apart. Who is this? Real Muto? Yeah, Real Muto's stance is just so wide. That's hard to have a stance that wide and then swing that bat that far. And sure enough, struck out. See you, Real Muto. Taking a seat on the pine. Who's up to bat next? Bryce Harper anytime soon?
Every tower.
Oh, that's the annual save for sure.
How?
They tell me someone sabotaged the central server, and now all the towers are offline.
Who's this, Bryce?
Inside job?
Is Real Muto back before
later.
Bryce?
Right
Because
now
that
we
must
need
be
to
a
get
thing.
the towers back online. Fast.
And you called me? Aw, that's sweet.
Lefty, it's
I
Bryce.
called someone I could trust.
He's got a walk.
Plus,
He's
the
got a
signals are
stolen
scrambled and we
base
have no
after
idea
that
how to
walk.
fix it.
Postseason batting 382, 6 home runs,
I love a
13
challenge.
RBI.
You break
First
it, you buy
pitch,
it.
I thought you
94
trusted me.
miles an hour, and it's a strike. And Bryce Harper, he's behind the count already.
Take a look at this tower.
0-1. Bottom of the fourth, 1 out. Philly looking for that go-ahead run right here. Both teams looking for the go-ahead run, no less. No less. Fourth inning, though. In a battle, Brycey Harper here, says Angus McCord. Brycey with a big swing. It was really awesome. They showed a little video the other day. One of the games that Bryce Harper hit a home run, and John Smoltz just saying, like, you know, looks like he's gonna sit on a breaking ball here, and bam, sits on a breaking ball, opens up those hips wide, and bam, it's gone. Slam-a-dam-a ding-dong. And it was just a thing of beauty that Smoltz laid it out before it was happening, as it was happening, and then as it happened. It was just so cool to listen to, because, like, he nailed it. One of those awesome moments in time where he just popped it up. But Bryce Harper, whoosh, swing and a miss. 2 outs. Strike 3. He down. He gone. He gone. Little White Sox for you. He gone. Punched out. Punch it. Brycey down. They already got a base and a stolen base, and they did not do anything with it.
Input brains have been shifted. Subtle.
Oh.
We just had a tower come back online. Was that you?
Not just a pretty mask, huh?
Whatever you did, any chance you could do it to the other towers?
Sure, but just so you know, I had to sync up with the tower to fix it. I'm seeing all crime data in the area now. Looks like there's a break-in happening near me.
Just to warn you, I have just hacked
Don't bother.
the entire NYPD. Don't mind if I do, right? Says Peter Parker. Locate some crime to disrupt. Yeah, he does it in good, you know. But it is vigilante.
Do it.
2-1 count to Castellanos. 2 out, nobody on. Phillies at bat, bottom of the fourth.
Pretty sure these guys
No
didn't forget their
runs
keys.
between Houston and Philly in game 4 here. Philly, of course, up 2-1 here in the 4th game of the World Series. Yes, love that. Nope. Get him. Yeah. See ya. Pop, pop. Go back to school, kid.
Okay, wrapped up.
Thanks for that. Now I'm seeing an assault near you.
You're in luck, Yuri. Your favorite tough but lovable, grizzled, seen-too-much detective is in town.
What? No. You promised you wouldn't do that any—
Spider Cop.
Please, no.
Spider Cop. Post commercial. It looks like we hit the 3rd out while I was not looking. Missed that 3rd out. Love that we got the
So
World
you're
Series
the
going.
snitch.
Great call.
Back off, creep.
Good call, Archduke.
Yep.
World Series.
The one.
I said
Epic.
back off.
Back off, buddy. Don't worry, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's here. Hey, hey.
Leave me alone.
Keep it quiet, lady.
Don't touch me. Help! Help! Police!
Give me a second, lady. Gotta move this.
Get away from her.
All right, get away from here. Brutes. Oh, so it's like a fist brute. No, I dodged him. Nope. Shit. 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 Here you go. Sit down.
Walk away now, or she's dead.
Let me go!
Oh shit. No. Okay. Press A. Use L to aim at the target and press RB. F. Knock this guy out.
All clear, ma'am.
I knew Jameson was wrong about you. You're a little weird, but you got a good heart.
Have you got somewhere to go?
I can take care of myself.
I'm sure
Like,
you can, but
yeah,
just in case, there's a place called the Feast Center.
Seen it. I don't want charity.
They got the best wheat cakes in the city, hands down.
Mom used to make those. Haven't had any in a long time.
Go get some.
I'll check it out.
And
Thanks,
get a therapist.
Spider guy.
Go see somebody.
It's Spider-Man. Oh well.
He just like was assaulted by
Should
like
be
a
able to
group
spot
of
the
men.
next tower from
It's
up there.
fucked up. Good thing, goodness, Spider-Man was over there. Hold L, run towards the wall.
From his elevated position, Spider Cop spies his destination. A second surveillance tower.
Are you narrating yourself?
What? No!
No.
Of course not!
No.
Chief never did understand Spider Cop. Thought he was a loose cannon.
Already regretting this.
Let's go, Pete. All right, let's go up. Let's go up. All right, Phillies. And Houston gets on the top of the fifth with the first batter.
I can
Scramble.
modify these towers to track more than just crimes.
Getting there. There we go. All right. Leadoff man's on top of the fifth for Astros. Scoreless game here at Citizen Bank Park.
Score. Towers are picking up all kinds of RFID signals now.
That.
Including one nearby. What is that?
What is that? What is this?
Oh, wow.
Did I put this
One
here?
of my old backpacks from high school. Forgot I attached tracking dots to these.
Shit. I'm commenting on delay. I don't want to be a spoiler. I don't think so.
These are scattered around the city.
Strike. I should be seeing it absolutely as live as you are, Angus. Everybody in chat should be seeing the game absolutely just as live as you are. Altuve, 0 out, 1 on. Altuve, 0 for 2. Altuve just swings and belts one. He's going to get on base with that. 2 on. Top of the fifth. Unless, Angus, you saw that. Unless you saw that ahead. Like Altuve, Jose. Oh man, I got I got a doozy of a question. You don't have to look it up, but it's gonna be a fun one. What they did a recent survey of the all 7,000 World Cup players since like the 1930s. What do you think were the 5 most popular names featured at the World Cup? At Soccer World Cup, basically from 1930. Oh, you did see it ahead? Oh shit! How are you ahead of it? I'm watching legit. I wonder how much it's ahead you are. Wow. All right. So right now it looks like they're thinking about a pitching change, or they just talked it out at the pitcher's mound. First baseman's walking back right now. Oh, you might be okay. So there is probably a 10-20 second delay from me live to you. So if there's about a 20-second delay between me saying things, then I'm probably seeing it around the same time you're seeing it. But if it's more than 20-second delay from me seeing it, from you seeing it, then maybe there's more to it. It looks like the pitcher Nola is about to pitch. Jeremy Pena at the bat, 277, 0 for 2 today. Here's the sign. Here's the pitch. I'll say where's the pitch when it comes. He's pitching now. Strike. Good swing and a miss. 0-1. So if I'm about 20 to 30 seconds ahead of you or behind you, probably watching very similar timing than you are. But if not, then you might be ahead of me. Nikes. Of course, watching here. Fox. So find backpack to earn backpack tokens, which you can spend to craft better gear. Okay. Interesting. Oh, bunt? What are you faking? Oh, he went for it. 2 men on, no outs, 0-2. Man, if you strike three, bunted that. Woo! Was it Dusty? Really horrible bunt. Horrible bunt. I mean, there's old baseball players that know how to bunt. What was it? Ted? There's some players that really knew how to running bunt, and they could teach the game. Saw some old timer baseball guy. It was a famous old guy. I think it was Ted Williams, teaching the young guys, like in the 90s or something like that, how to hit it, how to bunt and run. It's a hard skill. All right, who's up to bat here? 1 and 2. Count. Ball. Gotta be a ball. Yep, 2-2. Woo! All right. Hello?
Yo.
Oh, yo. DPG.
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, brother?
Not too much. How about yourself?
Doing good. Watching a little bit of the World Series as it happens. Game 4, Phillies versus Houston. Houston about to go ahead. Looks like they just loaded the bases. Top of the 5th inning, no outs. And the base, when it comes to baseball, it's just kind of, for me, it's like one of those. I'll tune in at the end and take a peek at, probably take a peek at the end. That's how I usually go about my baseball, unless the White Sox are really in it or the Cubs are really in it.
Yeah, no, I get it. Right now I'm watching the CONCACAF League. Where it's just, our prospects, don't look all that great as in other World Cups. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's not a whole lot of faith with Gregg Berhalter. It's that's one reason. A lot of USMNT fans were, throughout this whole cycle, they've been pretty much, piling it on Gregg Berhalter. Sometimes, Greg looks like a genius, and other times he does stuff that Ezra might do. So it's just I think a lot of it has to do with what roster he's going to take to Qatar, and on top of that, a lot of it has to do too with how that first game against Wales goes. That's pretty much going to dictate the pace of the next two games. The minimum should probably be a draw. The worst thing that can happen to us is we lose against Wales and then we lose against England, and that's not a good sign. So that's just my 2 cents. I don't know. What are you thinking, James?
I think that I think that the U.S. has a better chance than we think they do, but certainly a worse chance than the craziest fans think they do. They're somewhere in the middle. They have would you give them any amount of percent to win the World Cup just because they're in it, like a 1 to 2%? Like they could have a Cinderella. There's a 1%, 2% chance that they could roll sevens the entire way through. It's just the most unlikeliest scenario.
So that's that's a big thing about a lot of these, diehard U.S. men's, MNT fans. It's just a lot of times they get so passionate that they kind of lose touch of reality.
Yes, that's what I see on the Twitterverse of the U.S. men's national team fans. We all want our nation to be amazing and be successful. But I mean, like, what's the nation you always support, DPG? Besides U.S. men's national team?
So besides U.S. men's national team, obviously, I mean, if Honduras makes it fine,
and so you can sympathize with that, like with that mentality, because it's like, how can't you? I mean, you know what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah. So the way I picture this is that as a U.S. fan, it's expected for you to go to the World Cup, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
as a Honduran fan,
we're the top 5 nation in our area.
Yeah, as a Honduran fan, you're just hoping they make it to the World Cup, right? So it's like, if we make it to the World Cup, that's a lot of grit, and just like that, that's like busting your ass and and it's like doing an overtime job. You're busting your ass and trying to get results, right? So the thing is, at this point, now I could kind of see this whole, U.S. men's national team from as if I'm watching Honduras. You want them to succeed. You want them to go forward. But at the same time, we have to be realistic here. We have to be very realistic here.
And so you have to be realistic about about your team. And so it forces you when you get your butt kicked in like that. And America gets its butt kicked in regularly by the big boys, but sometimes we show up and we beat Brazil. Sometimes we show up and we beat Spain, and that's the awesome thing about America, is that every once in a while we can show up. It is there. It is the physical ability is there. It comes down to me to tactical acumen, and execution.
Exactly, and that's, I think, because if you think about it, the most exciting thing about the U.S. men's national team during the World Cup cycle is when they're facing off against Mexico. That's probably their hardest test. Specifically if they're playing them in the Azteca, and that's as hard as it's gonna get.
Canada's now actually trouble.
I don't know. I think Canada still has a long way to go.
I don't think they have a long way to go. It's shorter way. Yeah, they have a ways to go. I agree with your idea there, but I think it's not. They're still behind the U.S. Doesn't it seem like? And just like they're not deep. The U.S. is more deep. With
this. This is how I see Canada.
Houston going up 4-0 in the World Series right now, top of the 5th, just having a heck of an inning here, running amok. And also Angus saying, not meaning to be a dour, but I see no chance for the U.S. to win. No chance in hell.
I see the U.S. win. I see a bigger chance of the U.S. winning the World Cup in 2026 when they're playing at home.
Yes.
They have the crowd behind them. I see that. There's a possibility that could happen.
Yes. What percentage would you give that?
So at that point, I'd go up to 50-50.
You put it 50%? You put them on par with the Spains and the Englands. I would say they move to a 5 to 7% chance.
Well, here's the thing. And I hate to kind of predict what's going to happen in the future because you don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say is because right now, a lot of our guys, they're still relatively young in their careers. A lot of what's supposed to be our golden generation, they're still relatively young, and they're still, a lot of times, they're still sitting unfortunately, they're sitting on the bench, right? So.
And at other club teams, what you're saying, right?
At their club teams, exactly. At their club teams. 2 years from now, that could change. It could be that all of a sudden these guys are regular starters. They're potential Golden Boot winners or Golden Boot candidates.
Oh, no way. Oh, maybe in their league. Maybe in their leagues, yeah.
In their leagues. Fine, and you never know. We might have that one player that might actually win the Golden Boot. Someday.
But American strikers, we don't have that $50 million striker like Canada. Canada's striker is apparently worth $50 million on transfer market.
I know. How much was Pulisic when he went to Chelsea? How much did
I thought that was
Chelsea
like
paid?
$70 million. So let's double check some.
So we do have a $50 million striker in those terms.
Oh, so a forward, a $50 million forward. Yes, yeah. Because they show his main positions as right winger, left winger, and attacking midfielder, not striker, and his market value is about between 66 and 46 million.
Yep. So I guess you could say we have our $50 million player. Put it like that.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is we also have to take into account if he's going to stay that way in 2 years from now.
Yes, right.
So this is why I hate predicting what's going to happen in the future. As things stand, there's a lot of potential for this U.S. men's national team to do really good in 2026. A good start of that, a good indicator of that, was the fact that the youth teams, they qualified for the U20 World Cup, they qualified for the Olympics, and that's good in terms of finding more talent, developing talent. A lot of times, the Olympics tends to be a proving ground for a lot of young players, and the U20 also. So. It all depends what happens in those two tournaments, and all depends what's going to happen 2 years from now. For what it's worth, if the U.S. men's national team doesn't get past the group, they could take it as a learning experience for the 2026. And anything after that is a bonus. Thinking about it now, it's, we don't, when you compare teams like Wales and England and all those European teams, they play against each other on a regular basis. They're conditioned
the best
to
play against
better.
The best.
Exactly. They're conditioned
regularly
to play the best.
Yeah.
Even if you're a team like Greece,
that's how they were able to do what they did. Yeah.
You're conditioned, to play against your Germanys and your Hollands and your Englands and Spains.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you look at the U.S. men's national team, all we can go by is our World Cup cycle versus Mexico. That's probably our biggest match. And any friendlies after that. But the thing is, I don't put too much stock on friendlies. Friendlies, to me, is more or less exhibition and a good chance to try out potential players for a World Cup cycle or a World Cup. So, I mean, it's hard for me to say. The only reason I say 50-50 is because if I were to predict, if I were to give my honest opinion, if Christian Pulisic could get out of Chelsea or becomes a regular starter at Chelsea, he could develop into a much better player. If Gio Reyna's injuries stop, and for once he actually plays a full season, missing very few games, his potential is going to go up.
Yes.
You know,
Brendan Aronson.
all those guys.
Do you know that Jonathan David was born in New York, Brooklyn, New York? He could have played for the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, you know, but the thing is that's always when I think about that, you know, it's a very unique situation for a player.
That's like the missing piece for this team. If this team had Jonathan David, is Jonathan David worth $50 million if he's an American?
I mean, but think about it. I mean, you know, around the time that Jonathan David came into the picture or left to Europe, you know, we were all high on Tim Weah. We were high on Josh Sargent. We were thinking, oh, we don't need Jonathan David. We have those other guys. And we're, you know, and on top of that, you also have to look at it from a player's perspective. And what I mean by that is, you know, so Jonathan David, Canada has been a horrible national team for quite a while, for decades. But if a guy like Jonathan David joins that national team, he has a much better chance of making a bigger impact and becoming a focal piece or central piece to that team.
It's almost an easier path.
It's almost an easier path. If he were to go on the U.S. men's national team, he will have competition.
Josh Sargent, PFOC.
Yeah. PFOC, all those guys. Not only that, but now you have the press. The press comes down a lot harder on the U.S. men's national team than it does with Canada.
Oh, probably gazillion times, right?
You know, you had the fans.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't. What's the ESPN of Canada? What's it called? Something Center, Sports Center.
TSN, I think, or is it T?
Yeah, I imagine that they do got to cover soccer to some degree there, but they probably do get the ESPN treatment because it's probably more so hockey, right?
Yeah, but then again, I highly doubt that they have a character like, you know, Taylor Twellman screaming his lungs out, you know, on ESPN talking about the U.S. men's national team. So, you know, I guess if you want some peace and quiet and the opportunity to grow at his rate, then Canada is a perfect choice. Because if you mess up, then okay, it's Canada. There's no expectation there. But if you mess up as the U.S. men's national team, then it's 2018 all over again.
Yeah, Canada are trying. They Canada want to become World Cup regulars. USA are World Cup regulars.
Yep. So
Canada still is competing with the rest of CONCACAF in that way, because like what you said, they're just not as deep in all these positions. Where is their next generation, and are they coming up? But I mean, where did this generation come from? All of a sudden, this
might be an outlier generation because Canada didn't qualify for the U20, didn't qualify for the Olympics. You know, their youth teams don't do all that great. And I would tell you, after these two cycles of, you know, World Cup qualifiers or just World Cup, I don't see them being competitive anymore. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that, you know, the best players for Canada's national team come from 3 MLS teams. MLS, you know, in bold letters, MLS. I think if Canada really was serious about developing talent and having its own identity, first of all, it will break away from the MLS and actually have a league, an official league.
Though. They do have the Canadian. But it's
Yeah,
very under. I think it is failing, maybe, or close to.
it's failing, and it's if you look at some of those teams, it almost sounds like a lot of those teams are concentrated around the Toronto area,
Mhm.
and it's you don't have like what you have with Toronto versus Montreal versus Vancouver. You have mostly Toronto versus you might have a Toronto versus a Toronto suburb or some small town out in the middle of nowhere in Canada.
I mean, it works in England when you have promotion relegation, when all communities can get involved, when all communities can go field the team and go support their thing. It's a different institution over in England and over in Europe, but like over here in Canada, over here in America, it's how I wonder how it is in Mexico. Is it in Mexico? It's similar to how it is in Europe.
They do have a relegation and promotion system set up.
Well,
but I think
how the community, how the culture treats it, because the way American culture interacts with soccer, it's so.
Yeah, so it's very the way American culture interacts with soccer is very recreational, very laid back. But then again, that's how Americans, tend to be with all their sports teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're not, I bet that the guy that's a fan of, a League 3 team or League 2 team is probably a much bigger fan than your most diehard Packers or Bears fan or any fan from any sports in the U.S. Because a lot of times what happens is that, like, as you were mentioning, it's a very community-based club in England and in Spain and all those other places in Europe. If your town, gets promoted, it's like celebration. And I mentioned this before. Season tickets for a lot of those club teams is just another utility bill for a lot of those fans. Imagine, it's one of those things where you could get rid of cable, you can get rid of, Netflix and all your streaming services, but you're not going to get rid of water. You're not going to get rid of electricity or your heater or gas, right?
No. AC.
AC, you're not going to get rid of any of that. That's how they treat season tickets for their local team. That's right next to the water. That's right next to the gas. So to them, it's just part of life. To the fans here in the U.S., it's just another recreational thing, another passion, and that's it.
Yeah, you got a good point there. For us, it's just another sport to be a fan of. It's just another cap to wear. It's just another jersey to buy. Because that's the way it is in sports. It's like, oh, it's baseball season. Oh, it's football season. Oh, it's basketball season. Oh, it's hockey season. Oh, it's soccer season. Oh, it's basketball season. Oh, it's football season. And then just the cycle continues. And for me, as I've grown older, I found that, I kind of got to like pick and choose when I can pay attention to the Blackhawks, when I can pay attention, when the Blackhawks deserve my attention, when the Bulls deserve my attention, when the Bears deserve enough of my attention, when the Cubs or the White Sox deserve my attention, when the Chicago Fire deserve enough of our attention.
Exactly, and it's like a good representation of this. And I'll bring this show up is the Wrexham show. What's this guy's name? Ryan Reynolds' club team in Wales.
Yep, Ryan Reynolds and Always Sunny guy own Wrexham, one of the oldest football teams in the world, and also they have one of the oldest stadiums, the Racecourse Ground, which is why I always picked them in Football Manager years before these guys even bought them. I think it's funny that I think Wrexham was kind of that. A lot of people who played Football Manager would discover, oh, there's some history here with Wrexham. I'll pick them, and that's what drew me to them in Football Manager, and it probably drew a lot of people in that, and it drew Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney of Always Sunny.
It's funny you
go on.
No, I was going to say this. It's funny you mentioned Football Manager because I've been playing Football Manager since the days it was called Championship Manager, and when I will play the Premier League team, I always saw Wrexham as on one of the fixtures, not necessarily against the Premier League team, but mostly like if it was like an FA Cup, qualifier or something like that. That name always stuck out to me because it's different. Wrexham. I don't think I've ever played with them, but then again, I've played with teams, and every now and then, you kind of want to get a feel to play with a lower league team just for the heck of it and take them to the Premier League if possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably have seen them there too. So yeah,
Wrexham
it's funny you
in
mentioned
FIFA
that.
23 are in FIFA this year. It looks like FIFA's gone down to at least League 5, so you could do a road to glory with Wrexham. You could take over. Imagine that Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have taken over, and they've given you an infusion of just millions of dollars, and you could just start bringing in some good players. Could be a fun little little road to glory right there on both FIFA 23 and Football Manager.
Yep. And that's the thing. If you ever have a chance, if you've seen that show, you've seen a lot of it. It revolves around the fans, and that's one of the good things about Wrexham is that it's not a hobby. It's for Ryan Reynolds and the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Keep forgetting his name.
Rob McElhenney or something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's they're serious about this club. And the good thing about this show is that it's not fixated on the owners, it's fixated on the fans. Everyday people. People that have been supporting this club, since they were kids and they were babies. They will have stories about their dads taking them to the games and all that. That's very meaningful for for those kind of fans.
I saw Rob put out a picture too. He was at the Phillies game with the Always Sunny. I forget her name. The blonde lady who's in Always Sunny, who's his wife, and they're because they're big Phillies fans, and It's Always Sunny is in Philadelphia, and they're big Philly fans. So right now, Philly being in the World Series, they were tweeting out the game. So it's like they're really. I mean, between them, the Phillies and Wrexham, they're having a blast. And then additionally. Oh, fuck. I had a thought to build upon with what you were saying, and I forgot it, but fuck it.
And that's how, it's nothing, it's not something negative against the American fan. It's just, that's how it is over there. It's just, I don't think they have as many things to be entertained as we do. To them, I think
American football, right? They're trying to get American football to take control there, and they've been doing these London games for years and years and years, and now they're finally getting a little more traction.
Well, keep in mind, at one point, they used to have NFL Europe, and that didn't last too long.
That did not last long, but there's something I do like about Sunday mornings when there's an NFL London game. It's just like the EPL being on Saturdays and Sunday mornings. It's just like, oh snap! I'm having my morning coffee and after sleeping in, and bam, there's this good old sports game. All right, I'm in.
How much of that is actually real fans, or just something like, oh, NFL's in town, let's go watch it?
Yes, that's a good point.
Kind of like how if Monster Jam shows up, in Chicago next month, everybody will go. Oh yeah, Monster Jam's in town. Let's all go.
I mean, there's a lot of entertainment things trying to grab your attention, and just like there's but go back to what you were talking about earlier in Canada. Angus saying that lack of teams in Toronto might be due to the larger cities in the Canadian Midwest kind of being really out of the way. Like Canada has like 5 metropolitan areas, like concentrations, and then everything else is like it's like cold desert or forest. And
that's true. I mean, I guess one thing is if you're Toronto, you're gonna go play against the Ottawa Fury or Montreal, or I don't know, maybe even Winnipeg. And then another thing is if you're Montreal, but then you have a fixture against Edmonton, which is on the other side of Canada.
Holy shit!
And Canada, and Canada's huge. Huge. I think that's a longer trip than saying Chicago to LA.
Anywhere on the Iceland League, anywhere in the Norway League, anywhere. Think about the Norway League has to go to. There's towns that are like on fjords with soccer teams. They got to travel by ship and all that stuff, but it's still a much shorter distance. by boat than it is anything with what these Canadian these distances with Canadian. I mean, you got to go. You like if you like you're over in what is it, Vancouver? You got to go over the Yukon to get over to go visit Calgary, to go visit Quebec, anywhere. It's absolutely vast.
So that's kind of, you know, the only way I see a Canadian team and a Canadian league actually being successful is they're probably gonna have to split up their division. You know, have an East-West kind of situation, how similar to how we have with the MLS. You know, mostly focus on, like, for example, with us is we mostly play teams from the Eastern Conference, and every now and then we might have a fixture versus a team from the West, right?
Or maybe they do some sort of like, I mean, I'm just like going to refer to a circus, not in a negative way, but in a organized fashion of what a circus brings. Maybe they have a circus of games in town, and and it's like a traveling, ongoing tournament. That could be kind of fun. And then it goes from various town to town. It's kind of like NCAA tournament has like 4 different kind of starts in 4 different places. And then after a couple games, it shifts to 4 new places. And then it shifts to like 2 new places. And then it's the last final championship place, which maybe has been involved the entire time. It's been maybe they involve something like Toronto or Quebec. That's kind of maybe what they should look at, is the NCAA format involving that type of having a couple games in the spot and then moving on.
That could work too. And I mean,
otherwise, how can you maintain interest? How can you? It's like you said, it's so hard, it's so disparate, and there's so many more things vying for their attention. They got Netflix, they got Jurassic Park new movie coming out. They're like, and then like, oh, this Canadian soccer team's coming in, but yeah, also we got the Maple Leafs and the Canucks playing.
Yep.
And also Canadian football, which is very popular in Canada.
As it is. You know, it's if you're not good enough for your NFL, you could try your luck in on the Canadian League, right?
Here it's actually really pretty darn competitive.
You know, so it could be hard being a fan for soccer for in a place that soccer is not the dominant sport. I mean, if you look at England, and this is something I'd always ask, if I met someone from England or the UK, I always ask them, oh, do you have a favorite club team you like supporting? Surprisingly, a lot of times they would say, I'm a rugby fan.
Over football, over soccer?
Yeah.
I hear rugby. Sometimes I hear what's cricket?
Cricket, yeah. Cricket's huge. I don't want to generalize, but I mean, cricket is huge, like in places like India. I had a lot of Indian friends that
I do too, and yes, they love. Yeah, I play, and it's fun to play cricket.
I still don't get it, but somehow if you get the ball over the line, it's like 3. I was gonna say 3 goals or 3 home runs, but
blocking the wickets, bowling, it's all. And you can't break your arm, you can't break your elbow. And you see all these crazy little rules that I found out later. But still a fun, interesting game. It's just a fun game to play, and it's a wild game. It's too long of a game to watch, though. And I think that the 21s has really solved that issue. They do this new tournament style called the 21s, right? And that's like the big new cricket, the way that they like to do it now, because it's just a little bit faster than the old style cricket. I think it's called like the World 21s or something like that.
Yeah.
Let me check it out.
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with the cricket setup.
No, yeah. I'm looking it up. Oh, 2020 cricket maybe or something. I don't know, something like that, or some shit like that. Cricket tournament, but yeah, moving on.
Yeah. So that's it's basically discussing the fan base, basically discussing when players have to make choices of what national team they want to play for, and it's just not just Canadian players. We have a lot of Mexican American players that have to make that choice too. whether they feel more comfortable representing Mexico, or whether they feel more comfortable representing the United States. So, yeah, so it's a lot to unpack in those terms.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I believe the Fire released their end of the season roster decisions.
Boris Sekulic is gone. Andre Reynolds is gone. Amongst others. Who else?
Let's see. Let me see. I got it pulled up right here. All right. So the club exercised the contract options for Kendall Burks, White Omsberg.
Yeah. Okay. Wyatt was showing something. Hopefully he could return from injury and be a little something. But I mean, everybody, the pundits wanted to wax poetic because they're like, oh my God, Wyatt Omsberg. He's morphing into this partner. I'm like, guys, we still suck. Like, yes, they're good, but they're good on a last place team. We need good on a top level team. Can Wyatt Omsberg be that? Maybe. I don't think so. I see Wyatt Omsberg as a good CB on a lower end MLS team. I don't see Wyatt Omsberg as a good CB on as a good starting center back on an upper end MLS squad.
Well, I will say this: Wyatt Omsberg did pretty good. Before he got injured.
It must be said.
The thing is, he was really good when he was in a partnership with Rafa Chichos, and that's when he really, blossomed into a really good defender. That's not to say that Wyatt Omsberg is a bad player. By all means, he's not. He's really good. But when he was slotted next to Tehran, it was, he became from a really good defender to maybe an average defender. Maybe a little bit of a leaky defense. But at the same time, you also want to have that healthy competition for that center back role between him and Tehran. Both of those guys, did pretty well this season. Both have different strong points and arguments of why they should be better. They should be on the starting lineup. But and then you have the situation with Kendall Burks where he's probably not going to be a regular starter, but he's going to be the backup. And I believe it was mentioned in another podcast that he could also play a little bit of DR too. Or right back. Sorry. But the thing is the Fire now need a good right back.
Yes. Kendall Burks, maybe they give him a shout. Maybe we see more out of John Espinoza.
I wouldn't trust the right back role right away to Kendall Burks. I think he still needs a little more time to develop as a player. I mean, he did, he was pretty decent when we saw him play a couple of times this season. His first game was real shaky, but after that, it seemed that every game he started getting a little bit better. And I think the last game he was actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think you would give a guy like Kendall Burks the green light just yet. I honestly feel this club should probably spend a little bit of money getting a good right back. I'm not saying get a DP level right back. I would never advocate for a DP level defender.
No, we gotta go offense for DPs. Yeah.
Yeah. I think those days where MLS had like DP defenders and goalkeepers, I think those are long gone.
Without a doubt.
I think those days are long gone. So pretty much all the DPs are either midfielders or attackers.
The good ones.
Good ones, yeah.
I'm sorry if you hear the sounds that I'm clicking here. They're stupid, and I thought that they might be better.
So, which brings me to another point. What are you gonna do with Espinoza?
Play him. You got right now. You got to run him out there and see what you got. Can Ezra afford to do that? He can. Think about this. I mean, if you got left back returning in Miguel as your starter, You have Chico's returning as your starter center back, and you have Turan and Wyatt vying it out for mainline center back. That's still a lot of familiarity on that back line. You can afford to see what you got in Espinoza, and also you don't want to spend a lot in that position, they say, typically.
Well, here's the thing. You know what? There's probably going to be a lot of salary cap space now that we don't have Sekulic or Bornstein. I think Bornstein was making like $300K, and Sekulic was making close to $700K. So you're looking at close to almost a million of open salary cap.
But we got like $2 million in dead cap between what is it, Gaston Jimenez and Prishabilko. I mean, $2 million between those two players.
And here's the thing with that situation is that the Fire are gonna have to start making moves about whether, you know, you might have to start getting rid of some of these guys to make some openings.
Is somebody looking to trade for a striker? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think you'll probably have to sell Espinoza because I don't think he's MLS caliber already. I don't think he's MLS caliber player.
Yep.
You kind of have to find
you don't
somewhere.
think Espinoza is MLS caliber? He hasn't shown enough in those flashes that, of this time that he's gotten. What about? I mean, we were saying that about Turan at first, and I think Turan's kind of turned into something. Duran looks like he is absolutely a gem. I mean, they're saying that Manchester, there's teams scouting him and looking at him for over 10 million plus for John Jader Duran, the striker, as opposed to Carlos Terran with a T. Turan, though, is showing some signs to me that I was like, yeah, I want to see a little more there.
But the thing about Turan is like we kind of gave him crap because he was kind of all over the place. And we've had Turan for what since last season?
2 seasons.
And 2 seasons.
Before, yeah. He barely came on before when he started here, and then he got a big chance. He got a little chance the next season, and then this season he got his most chance ever. And at first he floundered it, and then he re-picked it back up and figured it out. So, which was huge.
You know, but he was playing next to Calvo, so that must have been a whole situation on its own.
Oh.
So, you know, I don't think
Alvo.
I don't think Espinoza is MLS caliber. I think at this point, if you're the Fire, you'll find a suitor, you'll sell him, even if you take a loss, just sell him and get some open salary space.
He's still young enough that I could give it a few more games, but maybe you're right. Maybe if you can move him along. But the other thing, DPG, I'm not in love with our midfield at all. I don't see how our midfield competes with the top 7 of the Western Conference, let alone the top 7 of the Eastern Conference. Our midfield between Mauricio Pineda, Federico Navarro, and Gaston Jimenez, they're not as good as midfields as all of the playoff teams. Every single one of them. Their midfields are just better. And Federico, and that is a knock on Federico and Mauricio not being the best pairing, because when you got ideally in my head, those are your best starters is Federico and Mauricio, but they don't fit together. Nor does Gaston. I don't know what the coach hasn't figured it out either. And so that's where I stand with the Chicago Fire midfield. I would trade all 3 if I could, even though Mauricio Pineda is a homegrown Chicago kid. Maybe he does need to see more time and grow, but I'm not getting Georgi Mihailovic vibes from Mauricio Pineda.
So my point with that is Pineda and Navarro are a much better pairing than Navarro and Jimenez. Because we've seen this before. We've seen a little bit of laziness from Jimenez. Mm-hmm. So I could live with Navarro and Pineda as a defensive mid. Now the thing about the midfield is you kind of have a lot of. It's probably going to stay the same, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's probably going to be a lot of question marks. First of all, are you going to start Jairo Torres over Brian Gutierrez? are you going to get a different Jairo Torres than what we had this season?
You're spending the money on Jairo Torres, and Brian Gutierrez looked like the more expensive player the entire season. There was not one game where Jairo Torres, where you were like, oh man, that guy's worth $5 million, and Brian Gutierrez is worth sitting on the bench.
Yeah, so it's
Brian Gutierrez made mistakes, but Brian Gutierrez made shit happen for the Fire. Too.
And you also wonder how big, this injury was for Jairo Torres. Maybe he comes back a much different player next season. Maybe he actually comes back as a $5 million player. It's possible. I'm hoping that's what happens. Otherwise, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to call bust on him. Same thing as Casper. Casper, a lot of people were saying, he has a back injury. They were saying that he has a severe back injury. He seemed a little stiff when he was playing, which, it was very evident. But are you going to get the same player you got this season, next season? I mean, fully fit and healthy? I don't know.
I wonder, do we get a better Casper next season? Maybe. I don't. I mean, fitting in the system, fitting in with Ezra. Also, maybe knowing his role and accepting that he's $1 million bench guy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. At this point, I won't. They're probably going to try to look to move Casper and Espinoza somewhere else. I don't know who's going
to take Casper for that money. Espinoza's movable right now, and as you said, the less tape you got on Espinoza, maybe the better.
And the thing is that anywhere Casper goes, if it's in the MLS, you kind of have to imagine that the Fire are probably going to pay a big chunk of his salary even while he's on a new team.
They're going to have to pay so much of his salary. I mean, he's a $250K player in MLS disguised as $1 million player.
And if they brought down his salary, if they brought down his salary to prevent him from being a DP player, then that's even worse, because now you have to pay a much bigger chunk. But at the same time, if you get rid of him, instead of paying someone 1.2 million or whatever, 1 million a season versus paying someone 500 a season to waste space, then it's it's a difference.
But does he waste space? Is he a valuable asset? No. At $1 million, that's $750K that they could be using on another player, on other players, on future. This team built by Georg Heitz is just donkey dick.
I kind of want to look at the salary guide, how much the Fire are paying for
who?
For Shiboko. So yeah, he's making at least $1 million. He's making 1.2 million guaranteed.
What? That's ridiculous.
1.2. So think about that. He's basically a DP player, but the Fire got away with it by paying down, his salary.
Ridiculous. And that's on Georg Heitz because he doesn't know the league. And he's like, well, we got to make a move. And the whole last season was panic reaction. What's this season? I can't expect much more. He's already probably doesn't have a plan. It's fly by the seat of his pants. See what's available after the World Cup.
So the thing is, and I'm not gonna throw down any names, but I know some people that they're sports agents.
Mm-hmm.
And they have talked to Heitz, and pretty much Heitz just kind of gave him a whole, we're not looking for any attacking players. We're just looking for goalkeeper, defense, and maybe now they're looking for attacking players. But this was a couple of months ago. Yeah. This was a few months ago, before maybe John Duran was caught interest from Europe. So maybe that might have changed.
He has to get a hold of what MLS is. MLS is the way you build a team is just not the way he's built the team. You have to build it. Look at the way LAFC built their team. Look at the way Philadelphia built their team. They put out a very cool graphic on Twitter showing how the two teams were built. LAFC doing a lot of great smart buying, and Philadelphia doing a lot of great smart buying. A couple drafts like Andre Blake hitting big time, a couple homegrowns hitting big time, and a couple choice team. Like they both had different team builds, and they made sense. What is the Chicago Fire team build? Doesn't it feel more scattered? It feels like shotgun, sawed off shotgun approach.
Oh, so here's the situation, and this is why I don't. This is why I mean I don't know how this goes about, but this certain sports agent that I talk to, he's really big on North African players. So he's trying to get a North African player into the Fire. I don't know how much talent is there in North Africa, but I mean, you have guys that play in Morocco, and you have those guys that go on and play in La Liga and other teams. So me personally, I prefer a player that comes from a league that's tough. League like the Argentine league or the Brazilian league, even the Colombian league, the South American leagues. If height is leaving the door open to bring players from anywhere else, then it's a little scary, because that means that he doesn't have a plan. He's kind of just going based on what an agent's telling him. And that's scary. I mean, that means that he doesn't know what he's doing.
There's a lot of trust in agents. It seems the scouting department was insufficient. They fixed that, or at least they're fixing that. But the problem with MLS is it's just not scouting. It's got to sell people on MLS, and then you have to deal with the rules of MLS. What I listened to this fantasy football podcast, and the way they talk about the NFL and the salary cap is as if it doesn't exist. The salary cap does not exist. It's not really there. And it's most evident when you look at the LA Rams or teams like in baseball, like the Dodgers. The salary cap, well, there is no salary cap in baseball. Scratch that. But back to football, the salary cap is not a real thing. And they were just saying that, like, the way that these draft picks, that Miami's using these draft picks and shifting money around. They used all three of the draft picks that they got from San Francisco from the Trey Lance trade that San Francisco moved up and gave them 3 first-round picks to do it. They turned that into Chubb, to the linebacker Chubb from Denver. Fantastic. They turned it into Tyreek Hill, one of the best wide receivers in the league. And they turned it into somebody else who's fantastic on their team. I forget who. But long story short, these teams with owners that want to spend, they can bring it in. We've seen that with LAFC. We've seen that with Toronto, who's bringing in all these huge players from Italy. And Mansueto is there's still some sort of arbitrary governor on the Fire that they're not allowed to be a big boy for some reason. They're not a big boy, and they're not allowed to be a big boy. I don't know if these guys have special permission to be big boys, but the Fire don't have that dispensation, because otherwise Lewandowski or some type of player of that ilk would be here already, or would have already came here. The Gareth Bale over at LAFC, and Gonzalo Higuain down at Inter Miami, Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi both going to Inter Miami next season. I mean, how does Chicago Fire compete with that?
That's the problem, is that this team has been so bad that I won't be surprised if they probably, in Europe, they might be telling other players, like, hey, don't go to Chicago. If you go to an MLS team, don't go to Chicago, because that's the worst team.
LAFC didn't even exist, and people are like, yeah, I'll go there. I mean, yeah, maybe it's LA lifestyle, but there's something special about Chicago. Chicago is absolutely special, and people realize that, and I don't know how. For me, I don't understand how the Bulls, the Bears, the White Sox, the Cubs, sometimes they have a hard time selling people on Chicago because they all want New York, they all want LA, but Chicago's the best city in the world, and people,
For us it is.
Chicago knows it.
I mean, unless you're someone that grew up in the U.S., you could associate Chicago with the Bears, the Bulls, the Cubs, to a lesser extent the Sox. But and it's not hard to sell. Like if you're playing, if you're a free agent that's about to sign with the Bears, it's not hard to sell the Bears to the player. Like, hey, come to
Chase
Chicago.
Claypool, I mean, you're going from Pittsburgh to Chicago. You're like, I mean, Pittsburgh, the team of football, much better team, but the city of Chicago, much more fun for a young person, 24-year-old who's a stud athlete.
Now imagine that, and for a European player, that has no idea what Chicago is.
There's a lot of anonymity in the largeness and the vastness that is Chicago land. It's big, north, south, everything outside it's just expansive that you can blend it. I swear, where I work, I saw Jay Cutler walking by. I mean, I saw this tall looking motherfucker that looked like Jay Cutler, and he, near a medical campus, so it would make sense. A very good one. And it was just like, that was Jay Cutler for sure. Cause I looked up a picture right after. I was like, oh shit, it was Jay Cutler who was walking by. That's crazy. And nobody was hassling him. Nobody's bothering him. And he was, I noticed him looking around. Like he kind of did stand out. Like he was like looking around kind of stunned that nobody was bothering him. And it was those cool moments happen in Chicago. I think in athletes Basti, people run into Basti, not know it's Basti. Some people run into Bastian Schweinsteiger and be, oh shit, it's Bastian Schweinsteiger.
I think I read somewhere that Basti was actually, he really enjoyed his time in Chicago because nobody was hassling him like if he was in Europe.
Yeah.
Nobody. I don't think anybody knew who he was when he was in Chicago, unless you were a soccer fan.
Sell that.
But yeah, you can sell that. You can say, hey, do you want some peace and quiet, and you want to walk around?
Messi. You sell that to Messi and Ronaldo.
I think it'll be much harder.
The circus might follow them, though.
Yeah. So, it's a hard sell, to bring players to Chicago. I mean, that probably explains the reason why we're overspending.
Mm-hmm.
You pretty much have to bribe them to come to Chicago.
So it seems, right? I mean, there's certain players that didn't even want to come to Chicago. Jermaine Jones, right? Amongst others. Didier Drogba.
Didier Drogba was because I guess I keep hearing conflicting reports about that. Jermaine Jones and Didier Drogba. I kept hearing that I guess Hoffman didn't want to pay up. Like he was all, yeah, let's get him. And then I guess when the player made his demands, he was like, I'm not paying that. From what I've heard. And that's how they did this whole BS coin toss or whatever, which chances are was probably rigged anyway. So,
I don't know. I wonder about that. Maybe they wanted to, they tried, but dude, maybe it is rigged. I mean, when you look at that, there's that one NBA draft. Is it the Patrick Ewing draft? There's this one draft where it was so suspicious when the way he put in an envelope, like he kinked this one envelope, the NBA commissioner, and like kinked the corner of it when he put it in there amongst all the other ones. It was the only kinked corner, and that happened to be the one he picked. That happened to be the Knicks, and that happened to be the year they drafted Patrick Ewing. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. It's a little suspicious. So that kind of thing I think does happen. That happened out in the open, which is crazy.
Well,
but I do wonder about that. Maybe but also maybe they talked, and maybe there's background discussions. There's always background negotiations with the agents before this gets to that point where they're like, I don't want Chicago, right?
Well, here's the thing, and this is why I said, the whole coin toss situation. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they're not going to say, by the way, Hoffman refused to pay for this player, so he's going to join, New England, Jermaine Jones? They're not going to say that. They probably has to find a way to make it sound like, Yeah, you know, it was
That
a
was
50
probably the case. Hauptman did not want to pay for the player because the salary cap's not real. It's does the owner want to pay for the pay for the player?
He probably was like, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay, you know, whatever, 2 million or 1 million, whatever Jermaine Jones was asking.
To not win
So he's like,
MLS, to not, you know.
he didn't care. So, you know, so he probably was like, oh, I don't want to play. And the league had to probably step in and be like, well, if he's already here, we have to do something. Let's
And you're
pretend
top
we're
of the
doing
list, and it's a pretty special guy, and you guys
You know.
need help. Like, you guys need, hey, you need this, Andrew. Nah, we'll be okay. At that point, they should have gotten rid of Andrew. They should have just been like, all right, we're taking control here. See ya, Andrew.
Yep. You know, but the thing is again, you know what? I'm kind of curious to see who are their targets. You know, as in terms of who they're going to bring in as a DP striker. Because at this point, I'm saying just bring a DP striker. Don't even bother with the midfield. The midfield, I guess it's fine for now. You know, we can't really do much anyways because it's
But
between
who are you
Mueller.
gonna bring in? I mean, like, look at what they brought. Didn't some team bring in one of the Benteke, and he didn't? How did he do? I mean, Christian Benteke is a recognizable name. Used to be good at soccer over in England, but has certainly fallen off. DC United. Did he go? He went. He signed for. He's 31. Christian Benteke is only 31. He's the number 20 on DC United. When was his last Belgium cap? He might sometimes still be involved with the Belgian national team, but I don't think he's a starter or anywhere near the top.
Yeah.
So let's see. Christian Benteke, is he making top strikers for Belgium are Louis Openda, Eden Hazard, forward, Dries Mertens, Michy Batshuayi, Thorgan Hazard, the brother of Eden, and Dodi Lukabakio. Those are the best strikers. Along with Doku, Benazir, Januzaj, Origi, Benteke, Lukaku are all part. They're all, Lukaku and Benteke. By the way, Lukaku still only, guess how old Lukaku is?
Late 20s, easy.
29.
Yep.
Doesn't it feel like we've known this guy forever?
Yeah, I remember when he was a wonder kid in Football Manager years ago.
Jeez, it feels like we've known Lukaku for fucking over a decade. He's only 29, and we probably have known him for a decade. I mean, he's being 29. Anderlecht, Chelsea back in 2009. Chelsea in 2011. Holy shnikes. 6'3", Romelu Lukaku, and that's what they say John Jader Duran is looking like. That's exciting. Holy shit. Christian Benteke, born in 1990. 31 years old, DC United, and still somewhat involved in the Belgian national team. And let's see what he did for DC United. 7 games, 1 goal. Crystal Palace. Well, this is what he did for Crystal Palace. 162 games, 35 goals. Like, am I reading? Here's when he shined. When he was at Aston Villa, he had 42 goals in 89 appearances, nearly a goal every other game. That was his heyday, 2012 to 2015. Then he went to Liverpool, got 9 goals in 29 games. That's not good enough to be Liverpool striker, right? No. And Liverpool moves on within a year, sells him to Crystal Palace. For Crystal Palace, he scores less goals in double the time than Aston Villa. That's crazy. He's done. Yeah, he's cooked. He might still be a good, MLS player.
So the thing is, too, is like looking back at this roster, it kind of makes you wonder who's gonna be left unprotected on the expansion draft. when St. Louis comes aboard. So you probably
leave
have
everybody.
no, you
Except
probably
for
have to imagine.
Chicos. I protect Chicos. Yeah, let's talk about who you're protecting. Pick 4 guys.
What's the limit? What's the
It's like
expansion?
9. I think it's 9 or 11 or something like that. But
So if I were to pick 4 guys,
but just pick 4. Your top 4 that you gotta make sure we save.
I think DPs don't count. You can't. I don't think you could leave DP.
So we'll leave out Shaqiri.
Youth players, I think youth players too. So you probably don't have to worry about John Duran.
Okay, so leave out Duran, leave out Shaqiri, leave out Jairo Torres, and leave out who's our third DP? Navarro.
I got still.
No, we have no. We don't have a third DP. We have an open spot because our DPs are Shaqiri and Jairo Torres. Jairo Torres being the young DP right now.
Yep. So the one guy that pops in my head as far as leaving him unprotected is Casper.
Leave him unprotected for sure.
You know, you kind of have to cross your fingers. You know, St. Louis takes him. Another guy will be probably Espinoza. Definitely Espinoza. He's gonna be left unprotected.
Leave him.
Let's see. I don't know if Richie. You could probably leave Richie unprotected.
Oh yeah, nobody's gonna grab Richie. They won't waste that Richie.
We need Navarro. Miguel Navarro.
Dude, you let him go, it creates an open spot.
Yeah, it's too much. That's too many holes on the defense. Obviously, you got to keep Mueller. You got to keep Brian Gutierrez.
Mueller is absolutely a keeper. Absolutely good Brian Gutierrez, but I think he's homegrown, so he might not counter for some reason.
Yeah, I think, I'm just thinking a combination of, what I've, vaguely remember the rules and a combination of Football Manager. So there's, I think the 2 players that I'd probably leave unprotected is Casper Shabelko and John Espinoza.
I want this guy to have roster problems to solve, even though he's the worst guy at fucking solving these roster problems. But he's got to hopefully get better at some point. This fucking idiot. Pardon my French. But Gaston and Federico, I'm leaving both of them. I'm leaving both of them open. I'm sorry. If somebody wants to come and take Federico away and create a roster spot where I could bring in a top level DP midfielder that will mesh with all these guys, that's where I'm looking. If that's what it takes losing Federico in that type of style, I say let it fucking happen. And same thing with Gaston, although they're not going to take him. Prishabilko, of course, you leave. I also am leaving Wyatt Ohmsberg unprotected because if they want to take him off our hands, far be it from me to be able to have to replace a replacement level MLS player. I think it's very easy to replace a replacement MLS player, but and that's not what he is. He's maybe better, but that makes Garrick Heights have to go find a better partner for Chicos.
So the thing about Federico Navarro that he's a U22 initiative player. I think that might be considered like a DP, a young DP player. So he might not be eligible unless the Fire. I don't know. I honestly got to see the rule.
And of course, they don't want to. They're not going to leave him up like I'm suggesting because he's got salary, and they're like, oh shit. Well, once we lose that salary, we got to pay money to bring in a new guy, and that's. Well, of course, it costs money, but the Fire are fighting a losing battle already next season. Right now, the Fire already they got to shed salary. They got to figure out a plan because I don't believe in this plan right now. I believe in John Jader Duran, but I also believe he'll be gone in 2 years.
So here's a fun fact for the MLS Cup final this Saturday. They're not going to have any parking available for the fans due to the USC game.
Can you run the show for 2 seconds? I got a wife calling me.
Yep. So this Saturday, which is probably the biggest game of the season in MLS. Unfortunately, the fans are not going to have any parking because there's going to be a football game being played, and so no parking. So if you were a season ticket holder for LAFC, you're out of luck. You might have to take Uber. Other than that, I'm trying to find if the rules for expansion draft. Let's see. Let's see what I can find.
All right, thank you for running that show there. I talked to Mrs. Spittingfire. Woo! I'm excited. I got some good stuff coming with Mrs. Spittingfire in the future that I'll tell you off here sometime. But let me re-enter back into the conversation because I got jogged out. So
yes. Parking for MLS Cup. There's no parking for MLS Cup.
What the fuck are they gonna do?
So, and the other day I was actually looking at the ticket prices for the MLS Cup final. For a decent seat, you're gonna spend at least $500.
And you can't get there. How are you gonna get there? You're gonna have to spend $1,000 Uber? No.
Exactly. That's what I mentioned. Is you're gonna spend $1,000 for 2 seats, probably for 2. Let's say you're not, unless you go by yourself. Oh, by the way, Olympia just scored, which means that right now on aggregate they're like 5-4. Olympia leading. So, yeah. Wow, this is actually a really good game.
Don't you like Olympia too?
I like Olympia. I think that's, to me, out of all the teams in Honduras, that's the most professional team.
I believe I remember you saying that, and that's why I'm like Olympia. I'm like, oh, that's one of the teams we know. All right.
Then again, Olympia is the only team probably capable in Honduras, maybe even in Central America, that's capable of eliminating a team like Seattle, or
Forza Canada, whatever,
or Force Canada, or a Mexican team. It's just. And they tend to do that. I think a couple of years ago, Olympia actually eliminated Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And this was Seattle that had just won the MLS Cup. So yeah, so they tend to have like these little potential runs. So right now I'm actually I'm trying to see if there's an expansion draft rule. Let's see. Oh, by the way, if we ever wanted to get rid of Kasper Shabilko, we could do a buyout of guaranteed contract. So we will have to basically pay for those 4 years that we're paying him, 3 or 4 years or whatever it was. Let's see. Salad, man, the MLS does have a lot of. Well, I can't find nope, I can't find expansion draft rules.
MLS with their stupid fucking rules, dude.
And the thing about it is that you don't know what it is because they tend to change it every time there's an expansion draft.
I got a big question and a big topic. Not even a big topic at all, but I thought I am done with the MLS playoffs, and they're already fucking around. They're like, oh, we need more games. We're going to change up the schedule. We're going to change up the way MLS playoffs. But I realize with the way we are right now with Philadelphia taking on LAFC, what the fuck do we have the playoffs for? If we want to see the two best teams play, and the two best teams are Philadelphia and LAFC, and that was clear at the end of the season because they both won their both conferences. Why do we need this extra pageantry show called the playoffs to muddy the water and potentially remove the best team for a team that's as good but just has a little bit of spunk? I'm fucking sick of it, and I'm done with it. I think MLS should do away with the playoffs, take on more of an EPL type of where like the season is the playoffs. However, unlike EPL, extra wrinkle, there's a fucking championship game at the end of the season between the Eastern Conference champion and the Western Conference champion to bring the true MLS champion out of that.
The thing about that is the only reason why it might be exciting in the Premier League to have the whole, whoever's on the top of the table is going to win the league is because they have, promotion and relegation.
Mm-hmm.
So even if your team is crap, you don't want to be the team in last place, or you don't want to be stuck in a relegation zone. So it's still exciting because a lot of times those relegation battles, they go all the way to the last match day. So it's still exciting. So unfortunately, since MLS doesn't have a promotion and relegation feature on the league, you have to settle for the playoffs. And there's been times where,
that's a good point. Okay, so it replaces promotion relegation, but I I'm telling you, I don't need it because for me, I want to see LAFC take on Philadelphia. When we reached the beginning of the playoffs, I feel like every fan in soccer and at least MLS knows, like, yeah, I want to see LAFC play Philadelphia, but we got to hope they make it through the playoffs. Cross your fingers. And I'm like, and I realized, I'm like, the regular season is that. I don't know. It's not going to happen. It's not going to change. They're not going to take away revenue, potential revenue like that. But I see that as making MLS better with that one championship game between the two. 5-0, by the way. Houston up 5-0, trying to tie the World Series against Philadelphia. Top of the 8th inning.
And the thing is that you probably could appreciate the fact that, we're not seeing like a David and Goliath battle. You're not going to see like a team that squeaked by into the playoffs going on a Cinderella run. And now it's going to face against the Shield winner.
Well, I guess my style would deny such narratives, what I'm advocating. I'm saying, but also what our style would advocate for is what if during the season someone had the Cinderella run, the Leicester run, and made it to the top, and all of a sudden San Jose Earthquakes won and became top of the MLS West, and then took on Columbus in the East and got their asses whooped. It'd be so great.
That's the thing. It's imagine if you just won the league, the supporter shield, and then you get eliminated by like a 6-seed playoff team.
That's galling. That's kind of, I don't know.
But I mean, it could happen, and it has happened.
And is that good? Is that good for the league? Is that good for the game? Is it good for the narrative? Is that good for the season? Is that good for the entertainment factor?
But I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where it all depends. I mean,
doesn't it? It does seem like that.
It all depends, because you could be a fan of a team that just won the supporter shield and then gets eliminated by, Columbus Crew, whoever, which by the way just squeaked by into the playoffs. Well, I don't know. They didn't even make it to the playoffs.
They didn't. I thought they would, but they just missed. But
who made it?
imagine
Cincinnati?
last year, New England. New England was top dog and got upended by New York City FC, and who eventually went on to win. But
yeah,
that to me, I'm like, New England should have been the team that was facing LAFC last year. It should have been LAFC versus New England in my style. Instead, it was, what was it, Seattle versus?
It was New York City FC versus, wasn't it Real Salt Lake?
Oh my God! See, fuck that.
So
it was Portland. Okay, fair enough.
Portland. It was a random team in the West.
That's
Just
my
leave it
point.
at that.
Screw the random teams. Give me the best. Give me LAFC.
But it was a good game though. It wasn't like Portland just at one point Portland was leading it and then they tie it up and they lose in penalties. In fact, that was New York's whole thing is that they pretty much won half their playoffs game on penalties. I think they won 2 playoff games on penalties. So you think about that, and it's like, well, that you could call that a decent run. That team knew what it was doing. The team knew, okay, well, we're really good at penalties. We have Sean Johnson as our goalkeeper. Let's keep him leveled.
And that worked. Milkman delivered.
And yeah, the Milkman delivered.
Angus McCorder in chat saying MLS would never have a championship game minus that huge playoff system. It's just too much money to be made in their eyes.
Well, look what's happening now. They're expanding the playoff system. For whatever reason, a major gripe was that the playoff ends too quickly. So they want to expand it. And I think one idea was to bring like some sort of World Cup style, format, which I don't know how that will work.
That's called the season.
Yeah.
But man, I hate it. But that's me.
But the thing is that at the same time, the MLS is playing. You know, MLS teams are already playing a lot of games. You know, they're gonna play the against the Mexican teams.
DBG, I gotta run to the bathroom, but I also wanted to launch this quick little boat of conversation. Phil Neville was talking shit about NYCFC's lack of stadium situation and like how fucking embarrassing it is for the MLS playoffs. They don't even have a location for they didn't have a location for the first few weeks because it was like, oh, they're going to play at the Met Stadium. Oh, they're going to play at the Yankee Stadium. Oh, they're going to play at the Meadowlands. Oh, blah, 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 blah. And Phil Neville was like, this is fucking bullshit. NYCFC is a piece of shit team that has a lot of money and shouldn't be a piece of shit like this and should get their act in order. What do you think about that situation over there? I'll be back in a minute.
LAFC has like Manchester City money, and Manchester City money is, you know, it's owned by a billionaire. You know, so you have that kind of cash behind you. I think you could pretty much call your shots on where you want to play. So, I mean, the way you think about it, is that you know you really can't complain. You know, if NYFC, you know, wants to pay money to play in the Yankee Stadium or the Met Stadium, then that's on them. You know, and if they're trying to still figure out their stadium situation, I guess they could pay the league until they figure it out. And I believe they're actually close to getting their own stadium. So that's my 2 cents. Yeah, and I'm sorry about that. I'm actually watching this Olympia game, and it's actually really good. So I'm like pausing a little bit, just watching. Yeah.
All right, I'm back.
So I mean, like I was mentioning, it's Manchester City money.
I think the whole thing is bullshit. I don't think that the NYCFC needs their own stadium. I go play at the fucking Meadowlands. It's big enough. There's not enough land out there for you, unless you're gonna go out and create some place in a new area of the woods. And it's across like gazillion dollars of development, basically. And there's going to be no infrastructure to support it. Just go fucking play at the Meadowlands or play at, I don't know where else you would play.
Isn't that turf?
Ooh, fuck turf. Okay, get out. Get out. Okay. Damn it. But I do like Cincinnati, but I don't think that some of these teams really need stadiums, their own stadiums, if there's a viable stadium situation in the town, such as what the Bears have in Soldier Field. The Bears don't need it. The Fire. The Fire don't need to go build their own fucking stadium. The stadium's right there. The stadium needs work. The stadium needs a little fixing. It needs a little fucking love, Soldier Field, but fucking A, it's right there. It's already built. Don't waste another fucking cent on going to build another stadium in some godforsaken place that we all don't need to go to. Just use the infrastructure you have. Same thing needs to be done with New York. The Red Bulls have an excellent stadium. Why can't they have some sort of system where it goes red one day and then it goes blue another day? Like, there's got to be some sort of color changing. Put some money into it. Figure out a way to split it with NYCFC, because I don't think that they need two soccer-specific stadiums in New York City, unless that they really represent two different boroughs in the city. Like if one's like kind of a north side thing, one's kind of a south side thing. Maybe I guess you have two kind of things, like New York.
That's a weird situation.
Rangers, but like
that's a weird situation.
They don't need their own stadium. On the one hand, they need a stadium, yes, a finalized stadium, but they don't need an dedicated NYCFC stadium, because I'm just gonna say there's not enough fans to fill it. Like there's sometimes there's just not enough fans to fill it. So take what you got, build the base. Atlanta FC is lucky that they could get all these fans out to Atlanta FC games, and their attendance numbers have been going down because they've been sucking donkey dick, and now they're getting rid of their striker, who some Fire fans think we should sign. Do you think we should sign Atlanta striker Martinez?
said, yeah, before he got injured. Ever since, yeah, but ever since that injury, he hasn't been the same player.
And
And
more
he's
of a problem for the team since then.
And yeah, he's been a problem in the locker room. So Atlanta's trying to move him. Then again, Atlanta's kind of in a weird situation because they really haven't done much the past 2 seasons. They've been kind of on a downhill.
They finished below the Fire, I think, in some season or around the Fire. Like they're just like, yeah, if you're on the Fire's level 2 seasons in a row in parity bound MLS, something is wrong with your team. And hey, Joe Mansueto, do you hear this? Something is wrong with your team if you're spending more than 2 years in the basement in MLS in parity world.
So off topic, what blows my mind? I'm watching this Olympia versus Alajuelense team out in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
It just blows my mind how modern looking, like the stadium itself kind of reminds me like of a packed, full Home Depot field or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it doesn't have like the typical tall fences that surround the field. Like you'll see like in a lot of you'll see them in Mexican stadiums and even Central America and of course South America.
And it's sad that they need them, but they apparently need them. But so you're saying it's awesome that you don't need them, and hopefully it remains that way.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it is what it is. But going back to your point, the last thing the Fire need is headaches in the locker room. We don't need to sign Joseph Martinez if he's just going to be an issue in the locker room. I mean, who knows? What if whoever signs him, he takes off again?
Question.
But I haven't.
Question. Would you now? This is I think this has to be on the table. Is a swap of Prishabilko for Martinez something that the Fire should think about, or is that headache potential just no? And you're not going to get that headache with Prishabilko, even though he's going to also be relegated to the bench. I just don't see Martinez taking a benching like Prishabilko.
No, it's kind of those situations where so Shabilko, like we mentioned earlier, he played hurt, supposedly. And maybe we didn't get the best out of Shabilko because he was hurt. But then again, you look at Joseph Martinez, he hasn't been the same player ever since he got hurt. Now, whether or not that stays the same, I don't know. But it kind of makes you wonder if whether or not you should roll the dice again on Shabilko. Or
I don't know. I mean, so Prishabilko last year, 18 games, 5 goals. Joseph Martinez last year, 26 games, 9 goals. Sound pretty similar. But one's going to give you a little bit less headache, I think, in the locker room. Casper, he probably is a bit more of a team guy. I mean, as he's been here, he bought into Chicago. He bought a house in Chicago. Casper was ready to go and be a successful striker for Chicago. It just didn't turn out well for him. So
yeah, and it's funny you mention that.
Because I mean, he truly bought in. I mean, he's got a house here and everything. Like I was seeing absolute buying him.
Well, here's the thing. I was listening to Fabian Herber's podcast a couple of weeks ago. Maybe at the beginning of the season. I don't remember when, but he had mentioned that Casper actually reached out to him while the negotiations were going on for the trade. I think like Casper wanted to get out of Philly. Like he's like, I want to go, and he picked Chicago. He wanted to go to Chicago. So he actually reached out to Fabian and asked him, "Hey, give me a good real estate agent because I'm moving there." So yeah, he bought into the idea of living in Chicago.
Like, yeah, he was thinking he was going to be here 2 or 3 years. He's like, and hence he was like, yeah, I'll buy a house there, start, and maybe it turns out real nice there.
And the thing is that I think someone mentioned that his wife has a lot of family in Chicago, so so that also probably pushes the narrative. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's a tough situation to be in. You know, you're inclined to kind of hope that maybe you get a different Shabilko next season, but at the same time, what if it's more of the same? And then, you know, you miss out on a guy like Joseph Martinez, who might come back, you know, strong after having a, you know, not so good, not a regular Joseph Martinez season.
Joseph Martinez is 29 years old, and Kasper Przybyłko is 29 years old. They're both the same age.
Now, if they did the swap, would I know? If they traded strikers, I wouldn't mind. You know, why not?
Joseph is 5'8". That's a very, very short striker, and Przybyłko is 6'4", which is a very tall striker. And you see striker molds in all shapes and sizes nowadays. You see 5'8" strikers being successful. You see 6 foot strikers, 5'10"ers, 6'2"ers, 6'4". There is no required height to be a successful striker. Just like there is necessarily no required height to be a successful center back. There are the outliers, but it's very rare. I think you do have to tend to be taller as a center back, but striker, you could definitely get away with all sorts of height.
Well, look, you know, you look at Messi. Messi's like 5'5".
He's a hobbit.
So imagine you're this tall, you know, defensive center back, and you got to defend Messi. That guy's probably gonna make, you know, run circles around.
Oh my god, oh my god, it's a pro little kid. It's like a pro little kid who's faster, more live, more. Wow, that's why Messi is incredible, because he's just like. I remember going against sometimes little kids they felt like Messi. It was just like, Jesus, how do I stop this guy? And I know, and I was good at defense, but it's like they're so small on the ball that they're able to react faster.
You know, so yeah, so it, you know, but I guess when you're a striker, you could be small, you could be tall. You know,
definitely, I'm opening my eyes more to that. I do think there are certain types that are more successful in certain places, definitely, but striker seems to be a place where it's kind of like a brain thing. It's like a behavior training thing. Ronaldo, Haaland. I mean, Joseph Martinez there for a time. Like these goal hounds. Nikolic, he's like 5'9", 5'10", I think. Not the tallest, but goal hound. And they just have a knack. When I played with my brother, like some of these players just have a knack for getting their foot on the ball, or getting their fast foot on the ball, and the Fire need to find that if for the next thing, because John Jader Duran, do you think he'd last the entire season?
With the amount of beating he was taking, making those runs, I don't think he would have. Like I think so. Remember I guess you could say his coming out party against Toronto when he scored those 2 goals.
Yep, I remember. Oh yeah.
I actually went to the next game because I believe that was like a Wednesday night game, and the Fire played again on Saturday at Soldier Field again. I actually went to that game again, you know, at Soldier Field. I don't remember if it was against Seattle. I don't remember what team.
I think you came on the show either after or a few days after, because I remember you talking about this.
Yeah. I actually saw him coming out of the tunnel, but he wasn't like. It was like a game, like an hour before kickoff. He wasn't dressed. He was wearing jeans and a shirt, and he was actually limping.
Oh, that's right.
So
he's got his ass beat.
Yeah, so he took a beating. So yeah, so he took a beating. So I don't think he would have gone the full season, you know. And fortunately, he didn't have to go the full season because, you know, fine, maybe he misses 1 or 2 games, but imagine if he got like a long-term injury from it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Well, luckily he did not, and then he was able to come back later. But Jairo Torres' injury seemed to not go away.
Well, he came broken from what I was told, and from what actually Ezra told me. Hold on one sec.
Top of the 9th, Houston up 5-0 on Philly. 2 outs. looks like well, let's see, is this Philly's last chance?
So I'm sorry. So going back to my point.
No, Houston's up to bat. I'm sorry, Houston's up to bat. And Philly's got one last inning to try and make a run here, but it looks like Houston's going to take this game and tie up the World Series. But go on.
So like I was saying, like even Ezra, when I talked to Ezra at the anniversary party, he mentioned like we kind of got gypped a little bit because we got a hurt player.
Yeah, but also that's due to Garrick Heights not having conviction and bringing him in or paying the money to secure the finalization of his services to bring him in sooner. So he wasn't injured. So he wasn't utilized like he was by Pacheco or whatever the team that he was. Pacheco, or am I thinking Isaiah Pacheco, Kansas City Chiefs? I forget. Atlas. Didn't he? I think Atlas. Where he came from.
So
chat saying that NYCFC Manchester City ought to have more money, more than enough money for a stadium. St. Louis FC has been having stadium problems without a game. No power for 2 months and already a name change without a single game played.
I think about St. Louis. I think I don't even know if that stadium was privately funded or maybe the city of St. Louis after the Rams left were like, okay, well, I don't know what it was. Somehow I remember talking to someone about this. I remember a couple of years ago, someone mentioning, oh, well, the current governor or the previous governor didn't want it. And now that they got a new governor, he made it happen. So I guess the situation with NYFC, it's maybe they don't have any, maybe they don't have anybody that could, like for example, like we have Joe Mansueto. He knows the real estate inside out in the Chicago area. Does NYFC have someone like that?
Well, they already built their stadium, 22,500. It is called City Park Stadium. It's under construction. I'm looking at a picture of it.
So it's under construction?
On the stream, it looks like it's ready to go. I mean, I'm looking at a video of it. It's on stream on the...
Is it in New York City or is it outside New York?
No, I'm sorry, St. Louis. But
St. Louis.
Let's double check where it is at. On the old
I think
map.
the St. Louis Stadium is right by the Union Station, if I recall.
Find out. St. Louis City SC. Ooh. City Park. Looks like it was right here. City Parks near downtown west. There's the dome. That used to be the home of the Rams. That's not anymore. Let's see where the arch is. Where's the arch? In comparison. What is the arch? I thought it was by one of these bridges. Gateway Arch right there. Okay, It is down the street from the Gateway Arch, about looks like a mile.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, I think the St. Louis thing will be nice. If you want to take the train to St. Louis, it's possible. It's actually very.
Yeah, it's right next to the St. Louis Union Station, like you said.
Yeah, so you could take one straight train to go watch the Fire play against St. Louis, which is actually if you're not one of those long driving types, then take the train. It might take a little bit longer to get there, but at least you're not driving.
Let's see how much would the train be? St. Louis train, or no, Chicago train ticket to St. Louis.
But on that note, I actually got to call it a night though.
All right, DPG.
We'll do this again next Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll have some more Fire news.
We're less than 20 days. That's less than 3 weeks from World Cup first game, November 20th.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
$25 it seems, by the way, Chicago to St. Louis. That might be doable, right?
Yeah, with gas prices the way they are, it's very doable.
Ooh, $25 on a train ticket, maybe Uber walk. You could walk to the game. Holy crap! from the train station, DPG. I like that idea. That could be a fun little road trip.
Yep.
All right, DPG.
So on that note, I'll let you go. Have a good night.
Have a good night, you too, brother. Thanks to DPG for stopping by. 10-year plus season ticket holder of the Chicago Fire. Always love talking a little Chicago, a little soccer banter with him, a little sports banter. Always a blast. Angus checking in here. The Archduke himself saying citizens of St. Louis voted against a tax-funded stadium. St. Louis says CFC is next to Union Station, can confirm a bit of a distance away from the Arch. Looks like it was about a mile, which is, just like a walk down like that little promenade, which would be fun, I mean, that'd be come from Chicago, drop $5 train ticket in a day with a buddy or a couple friends. Could be a blast, right? I hope the Chicago Fire play them next season. If they don't, they're missing out on easy revenue because Chicago people would do that, I think. There are hotels close to the stadium too. I mean, easy. Absolutely, right, Angus? At that point, it's just like easy peasy. I don't think I've been to a Rams game, but I feel like I've been to that stadium for some reason. Don't know why, but I feel like I've been to this convention center where the St. Louis Rams did play. I've also been to the Superdome. So maybe I remember being like, oh, it reminded me in some ways of the Rams in some ways, but the Superdome was is different, but there was some similarities over at Superdome over in New Orleans. Fun little place. Chat. It's been a blast. It's been a fun evening. Thanks for hanging out here on Spit and Fire. Greatly appreciate it. All right, what is the plan? Let's tune back into the World Series here. Where are we? Bottom of the ninth. Yeah, it looks like it's over for Philadelphia. 0 outs, unless we're going to see something special right now, right here, right now. Is he going to get on base? Steerack! 1-1 to count. 3 outs away. Houston is 3 outs away from tying the World Series 2-2. Currently playing at Citizens Bank Park. What is that? Citizens Park. Just double check. That's in Philadelphia. Philadelphia. Wow, Philly cannot lose at home. Like, that would be devastating. But they won one in Houston, which is huge. And so did Houston. Houston trying to take one right back. Astros looking very focused on the job at hand. 2-1 count. Presley. No, Presley's pitching. I'm sorry. 2-1 count. Make that a 2-2 count. 2 balls. 2 strikes. Presley, impressive. Nice little pitch there. And the postseason is when you see the best baseball, the best football, the best basketball, the best hockey. Is postseason when you see the best soccer from MLS? I hope. But sometimes it doesn't feel that way. All right, who the hell is this bearded guy? Archduke saying Philadelphia could theoretically get back into the game. It is easy to hit home runs in Philadelphia. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We could see something here special. This would be awesome. Like, Philly needs something special. This could spur them on to win the World Series. A 9th inning comeback. Starting right here on the 2-2 pitch. Strike 3. First out. Strohs getting the first out. Bottom of the 9th. Phillies. 2 outs to give and down 5 runs. At home. At Philly, man. Marshall chased that in the dirt there. But great pitch from Presley. No hits. Philadelphia has no hits through 8.5 innings. They're just getting shut down tonight. They need their bats to wake up, but man, their bats are off tonight. Something is off. Who we got up here? Kyle Schwartz? Who is this? Tell me who this batter is. Missed the name. Presley, 8 pitches. Ooh. Who is batting? Schwarber. It is Schwarbs. I was looking at him like, is this Kyle Schwarber? Number 12? Fucking Kyle Schwarber. Cubs hero. 2016. One of them. Not looking good for the Phillies. But Kyle Schwarber, he's a player who could start turning things on, start switch some things, get on base here. You need 3 hits and a home run, change this game. But you really need 5 runs in 1 inning. You need 5 runs. You need a hell of a freaking inning, and it needs to start now. It can't start out. It can't. It has to start on this. They already have 1 out. And you're saying, seems like a 2 National League World Series. Still used to Houston being an NL team. I know what you mean. I mean, I remember Chicago White Sox taking on Houston for the World Series. And now Houston taking on Phillies. It's weird. Full count on Kyle Schwarbs. Go Schwarb. Look at that bad call on a strike there on that 3rd pitch. Schwarber watched that go down. Did he swing at that? Maybe he swung at that. He did. He swung at that. Here it is. Hit. Oh, foul ball. Foul ball. That. This is fun. Ooh. Keep showing these guys on the bench for Houston. I mean, they're up by 5. Walk. First man on base, and it's Kyle Schwarber. Chicago Cub legend. Starts right now, Philly. Philly needs it to start right now. That was a big at-bat by Kyle Schwarber. Now who's up behind him? Who's coming up behind him? Rhys Hoskins. Okay, so we're 2 bats away from Bryce Harper, I think. Rhys Hoskins up to bat. Okay, so double check their lineups. I want to see the lineups. How do I not see? Okay, here we go. Schwarber, Hoskins, Real Muto, Bryce. So right now Hoskins is up. We might not even make it to Bryce if Hoskins double plays, hits into a double play right now. But ideally, you need Muto. Yeah, you need Hoskins and Muto to get hits. And you need Bryce to get hits. And you still need hits after that. Castellanos, boom. You need hit. You need everybody to turn it on right now in this 9th inning for 1 inning. I mean, that's what Houston did. Houston did it. They turned it on for like 1 inning, right? Look at that. 5-run 5th. They put up 5 in the 5. Philly put up 5 right now, or even 6 just to walk off and win it. What's this? What's this? Hit out. Out. 2 outs. Korver stuck at first, and it looks like Houston has this one in the bag at the moment. Opt out to right field. Damn. It was fun playing Spider-Man earlier. It was a blast. It's out. It's over. There it is. Second no-hitter. First combined. Last since Don Larson's perfect game in 1956. So, second no-hitter in postseason history. Well done, Stros. Astros tie the series 2-2. Dusty looking really happy with that. That's all. Gotta go, James says, hey, Archduke. You have a great evening. You have a wonderful evening as well. I'll catch you guys very, very soon. Hopefully next Wednesday. As always, we're live every Wednesday. Oh! And I always do a little cut-up content for you guys, too, in the interbetwixt. All right, guys. Have a good one. Happy November. It's getting cold. Get ready for Thanksgiving. It's a fall classic. Couple games left. Who's gonna win it? Stros or the Phillies? Who you got? Stros marching right back into it. That changes things, man. That takes some gonads, sizable gonads. What a game. Everybody, appreciate you guys tuning in, hanging out here on Spitting Fire. Catch you guys on the next one. It's been a blast. Wow. There it goes. Say it's over? Yeah. Final. 5-0. Let's take a look at the hits. Altuve, Pena, Alvarez, Bregman, Tucker, Gurriel, Vasquez. Don't even have to look on this side. There's no hits. No home runs. Bryce Harper did steal a base. He got on. Schwarber got on. Brandon Marsh got on. But not good enough. From the Philly faithful. Tonight. Series is tied 2-2. When is the next game? Let's find out when the next game is at. For Houston. 11-2, 11-3. So November 3rd, 7:03 p.m. Central Time. Houston versus Philadelphia. Game 5. And then Game 6, potentially the last game, 11-5, if one team wins it and wins it again. Or if the other team wins it and it goes to Game 7, last game, Sunday, 11-6. All of these games at 7:03 p.m. Very, very cool. Fantastic music, right? Actually, a great tune. Chat, everybody, watching live right after that. Greatly appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye. footballers. Let me know your World Cup picks. Who you think's gonna bet? Who you think's gonna score? Who's your Golden Boot winner? Who's your top 3 nations to win it all? And of course, who you rooting for with your heart? Besides America, maybe you're rooting for America, maybe you're rooting for Poland, maybe you're rooting for England, and you got a little T in your old cup. But maybe there's something, another team out there that's near and dear to your heart. Let us know. Great to hear. We'd love to read your comments. And here, it's been Fire. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, live every Wednesday. That icon and that like button. Kick it. And what's this? Excuse me? Pardon me? Excuse me? Hello? Oh shit, somebody's coming in the door. Hold on, let me go check this out again. I thought you came in the door. I'm coming. Give me a second. Oh, it's you! Thanks for hanging out, everybody. Greatly appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next one. Let's go. Fired up footballers. Make sure you kick that like button. Keep kicking butt. Let's go. All right, everyone. World Cup less than 3 weeks away. Bulls kicking into gear. Blackhawks kicking into gear. Baseball coming to a close. MLS coming to a close. Back to here on Saturday. MLS coming to a close. And baseball as well. But other things starting up. Still heating up. The Bears offense might be opening up with the addition of Chase Claypool from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm excited about it. Some of my fantasy gurus are not too excited about the addition and how it rained on my parade. I threw some salt on my on what I thought was a great move by the Bears to bring in what I think is a very talented up-and-coming future wide receiver 1 for the Bears and Chase Claypool. They said, yeah, hold the fort. It might be more of a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3. A good complementary receiver, but that's what we already have in Mooney. Mooney's one of those fast complementary receivers. But, you know, maybe Chase Claypool can be a good complement to that speedster Mooney. I mean, he's got height. It's called Mapletron, just like Megatron. He's from Canada, of course, but graduated from Notre Dame. 6'4", 445 40 speed. Amazingly fast. Got the ability to make some fantastic catches. 2 years in the league that were really, really good. This current year, still surpassed seemingly by Deontay Johnson and rookie George Pickens, making him a little bit more expendable. Chicago Bears come in with a 2nd round pick. Some people say they overpaid. Some people say, and it might be right. Maybe but time will tell. Maybe Chase Claypool was better than the receivers that they could go get with that 2nd round pick. Maybe he isn't, but for Justin Fields, he is. In some ways, he's the 2nd round pick that they didn't spend years back. He's almost making a way up for the sins of pace, it seems, where they didn't. The bare bones wide receiver room here has just been so bad. And finally, bringing in a player that with talent and upside, like Chase Claypool, changes that situation. Now you do have a clear top 2 receivers. Now you have 2 guys who are going to be drawing the attention of the interest of the defense. I'm excited about the Bears' future and the Bears' offense going forward, guys. I'm excited. A lot of other fantasy implications. Jeff Wilson getting traded over to Miami. I'm excited about. I think he's going to take over running back 1s there. Fantasy football, and I don't know how you guys are interested, but oh man, it's been a fun season, guys. Love hanging out with you guys. Love chatting with you guys. Love talking to you guys. All sorts of topics that we always get into here on Spit and Fire. You guys are the best in the biz. Really appreciate it. Catch you on the next one. Fired up footballers. Let's go. Kick some butt. Catch you on the next stream. Thank you. Thanks for hanging out.
of the MLS. Here to tell you, man, about the best.